It's a rainy day in the Las Vegas desert, and if it's anything indicative of what we're going to see here today, points will be pouring all game long. Here inside Allegiant Stadium, Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves here on the call. Johnny, the top three offenses in the Mountain West are going head-to-head today, and they are red hot.
Two of the best offenses in the Mountain West today, Wyatt, and not just the Mountain West, but overall in the country. Both of these teams coming into today are averaging over 30 points per game. But the key in this game is going to be which defense is going to be able to get timely stops when they need it the most to get that offense the football back to get them to score more points. Both Utah State and UNLV have struggled defensively so far this season. So if either one of these teams wants to come out of here with a W here at Allegiant Stadium on a rainy, wet, nasty day, we're not at Sam Boyd anymore. They're not having the elements in their face anymore. These two teams are going to need to get it done on the defensive end of the football field to win today.
2 key points for victory for each side is let the Superman in front of you take charge. Their superhero, the Ant-Man Anthony Calandria, top 3 in the Mountain West for passing yards per game, TDs, and completion percentage. Each one of those third, second, and first. He has over 2,200 yards on the season through the air. What is it going to take for him and this offense tonight to be able to get the job done and get a victory to go 8-2?
Offensively, Anthony Calandria, Corey Dennis, Dan Mullen, this entire offensive system, they're going to have to feed the beast and Jet Thomas and the rest of the playmakers for this offense. We've seen the last couple games with this UNLV offense. They've had trouble starting the football game. They started sluggish. They started without a rudder. If they want to come out against this team in Utah State, which is going to be very high-powered offensively, they're going to need to score points, and they're going to have to score fast. We have to make sure that if you're UNLV, you're calling plays that are going to make sure you're moving the change and you're getting positive plays on first and second down to not get off the field on third down.
UNLV will kick it off, so they'll get it in the second half. So coming on to the field is the number 3 offense in the Mountain West, 267 plus yards per game for this passing offense led by Bryson Barnes, who's top 5 in this conference in passing yards, touchdowns, and passing yards per game. What do you see from his game that you love?
Bryson Barnes, 65% completion percentage, over 2,100 yards almost so far in the year, and 17 touchdowns, matching Anthony Calandria. The guy has a lot of the same skill set as Anthony Calandria, but him and offensive coordinator Kevin McGivern, they have been locked in on keeping this offense humming. They're coming off their best performance of the season so far against those puppies up north, the University of Nevada, Reno. They just hung 51 points on them to blow that game out and keep it pushing. Now, going against this UNLV defense, coming off of their most dominant performance so far this year with a score of 34-10 last week against Colorado State, they're going to want to continue that same type of success, and it starts with the defensive line and winning in the trenches.
Utah State 5-4 coming into this game. Touchback here, starting at the 25, shotgun. Quick outlet pass to Wyatt. He catches that one and is falling down near the 31-yard line for a gain of 6.
And right there, I like that little play call. They get the ball to the outside to number 2, Miles Davis. Not the famous trumpeter, but they give it to Miles Davis, their leading rusher on the season. He has over 609 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, but he's averaging 6 yards a carry. That is almost half of what you need to get for a first down every single time. They're going to want to feed him the ball early, and that's exactly what they did right there.
He is 5th in the conference in rushing yards, and he will rush here for the first time. Breaks a tackle on Atalaya and falling down near the line to gain at the 35. And we'll wait for the official ruling, but it's close to a first down. They look like they just marked him just short for a gain of about 4.
And just like I said at the beginning of the game, UNLV's defensive line is going to be extremely crucial to what they're going to do today. They make Davis have to bounce the ball to the outside, and if Atalaya is able to get him down on the ground, we're looking at a loss instead of a short 3rd and 1 here.
3rd and 1, empty formation. Barnes by himself is going to keep it, picks up the first down, diving forward, and is marked down at the 37 for a gain of 3.
And that speaks to the trust that McGivern has with his quarterback and Barnes in this offense. Crucial 3rd and 1 to start the game. What do? I'm going to go QB power. I'm not going to let him take it up the gut on a QB sneak, but I'm going to allow him to use the offensive line, use the leverage, know where the sticks are, pick up the first down. Great job right there by Utah State.
It's now 1st and 10 at their own 37. Quick pass here to the outside. Pagan tackled near sideline at the 43 by Andrew Powdrell for a gain of about 6.
And I love the pursuit there by Marcel McDuffie coming from that linebacker position. The moment that you diagnose and you see that is a wide receiver screen, his job is to see ball and hit ball. He does exactly that right there on that play and limits the yard after the catch ability from their wide receiver on that play.
Pagan, the transfer from UCLA, has been lighting it up. He is top 5 in the Mountain West in receiving yards, yards per game, and receiving touchdowns. And he is making an impact here early. 2nd and 4. Pagan across the seam, tipped, incomplete pass, almost able to connect there with his tight end, Josh Sturzer, the graduate student, unable to bring that one down, just a little high.
And I like that play design. Right there, they were trying to fake UNLV into thinking they were going back to the same play that converted on the 3rd and 1 with the QB power. But no, you have the quarterback, Bryson Barnes, actually keep the ball on the keeper, throw it to his tight end over the seam. Unfortunately, the ball was too high. They were unable to connect, but UNLV needs to get off the field here on 3rd and 4.
Ball on their own 43. Pagan with time across the middle and connects inside UNLV territory as Anthony Garcia moving the chains here in coverage was Powdrell. Great patience there by Barnes.
And that just shows how deep this Utah State Aggies offense is, especially in the wide receiver core. They hurry the ball up here, though.
Handoff, no play action. Across the middle, again connects. And it's Pagan for the 2nd catch of the day, guarded by Keys.
And once again, we know about this Utah State offense. They're going to be high-powered today. Right there, they go hurry up in the offense, and they go with the RPO, and they hit Pagan on the simple 3-yard slant, and he's able to pick up another first down for the Aggies.
Just 4 minutes down here in the first quarter. Utah State in the UNLV territory at the 28. Barnes, pressure, has to use his legs forward. Will pick up some positive yards there and brought down at the 25 in UNLV territory by Chief Borders.
What an effort there by Chief Borders. You had Coleman Fuller coming from that defensive tackle spot, pushing the pocket and forcing Barnes to step up. He doesn't want to take a sack, so he steps up, tries to get as many yards as he can, but Chief Borders with a shoestring tackle to get him down on the ground, holding him for 3 yards. And again, this is the name of the game for UNLV's defense. They want to be in 2nd and long situations where they can force pressure on the quarterback and make him force some throws.
It's now 2nd and 7. Handoff up the middle. Brought down after a gain of 3 at the 22. Tackled there by Alualu-Tue Olemodu, the sophomore, who had 10 total tackles last week against Colorado State.
And coming off that performance for Colorado State, Paul Gunther knows that it is a blessing to have blessing in the backfield for this defense. He wants him to be lively. He needs him and Marcel McDuffie to continue to get downhill and continue with the performance that they had last week against Colorado State. But once again, big 3rd and 4. If UNLV is going to play off-man coverage, they have to get pressure on the quarterback.
3rd down and 4 at the UNLV 22. Barnes motioning a man to the left. Looking. Rolls out right, pressure behind him. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage, and that's a sack on 3rd down. Great defensive pressure there by this UNLV line.
And that's exactly what UNLV needed to do to get off the field here and hold this team to 3. You have Marcel McDuffie being able to be the QB spot in that play, and it was man-to-man across the board. And when Bryson Barnes hasn't been able to get the ball to the outside to his playmakers, he doesn't have that same type of scramble ability that you see with Anthony Calandria. UNLV did a great job of bottling him up and getting their defense off the field.
41-yard attempt here from Utah State by the leg of Rinker. That kick is up, has the distance, but it's no good. That's his first missed field goal of the season, and it comes here 5 minutes into the first quarter. Scoreless game here from Allegiant Stadium. 9:49 remains here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back here inside Allegiant Stadium. A scoreless game here with 9:49 remaining in the first quarter. Off a missed field goal from Tanner Rinker, who has been perfect all season, a 10 for 10, and he's now 10 of 11 here from Allegiant. And this offense will take over at their own 23-yard line.
And I know Thanksgiving is about 13 days away, but you got to know that Dan Mullen has to be thanking his defense for coming out and getting a stop on the first drive, forcing this Utah State offense to only potentially 3 points, and they did not get it a shank kick. And now you get to see Ant-Man and his high-powered offense get the football back for the first time today in this game, hopefully to get the lead here.
Calandria with over 2,200 yards passing will start at zone 23. Empty formation. A middle of the field connects with JoJo Earl. He catches that one at the 35 for a 14-yard gain, 12-yard gain.
And I love to see that from UNLV. They had Jet Thomas motion out of the backfield to try to help Anthony Calandria diagnose if it was going to be man-to-man or zone defense. He does that. He steps up in the pocket going through his progressions, and he finds JoJo Earl, a guy that's going to need to be involved in his offense. We haven't heard a lot of him, but I love him being able to get the ball there.
His 14th catch of the season, trips left in shotgun formation. Lee in the backfield makes a man miss and is able to pick up a gain of about 5 or 6, brought down near the 40-yard line on 1st and 10.
And that's another level and wrinkle of that complimentary play calling by Corey Dennis. You come in on that first pass play and you're able to get a first down, you can rally up this offense and keep this defense on his heels with the run. Kevon Lee with a nice 6-yard rush on that play.
Less than 90 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Scoreless, UNLV on their first possession. Calandria to the near sideline, connects with Bradley, who steps out of bounds near the 47 for a first down.
And I love that. They're going back to their bread and butter. Anthony Calandria has been absolutely money in terms of running the play-action pass game, and specifically the bootleg play-action pass. And Jaden Bradley, who has been his #1 target so far on the year. That's his 38th catch, 650-plus yards on the season with 3 touchdowns. He's going to be a big catalyst for this offense today when it comes to passing the football.
Over 650 yards with that catch there. Lee, the handoff, cutting inside, still moving, still chucking the legs, and is finally brought down inside Aggie territory at the 47 for a gain of about 6.
And that's back-to-back rushes we've seen so far of not only Kevon Lee doing hard running, but this UNLV offensive line blocking their tails off. This coming off of Colorado State was the best performance we've seen with this O-line, them being able to dominate the line of scrimmage. They had over 200 yards rushing from Jet Thomas and Jalen Glover in that last game.
Shotgun formation, twins right. Lee in the backfield. They give it back to him again. He cuts back inside, picks up the first down, and moves the pile all the way inside the 40. Brought down at the 39 for a gain of 8 and another UNLV first down.
And UNLV running hard once again. They pull their guard, number 73, and allow him to get to the second level of this defense. And when you're able to do that, you're able to force your will on this Utah State Aggies team and make them play with more defenders in the box, which is going to spread out this offense and allow that air attack to be more dangerous for UNLV.
1st and 10 at the Aggie 39. UNLV on the move. Calandria, play action. Deep ball intended for Bradley just inside. Double coverage, unable to connect. He had him open on the outside, but unable to make the completion, and it is now 2nd and 10.
And exactly as I was saying, they go right back to the play-action pass game, and they get the defense to think that it's another run and try to throw the deep ball over the top to Jaden Bradley, who completely burnt the corner and the safety on the play. Better ball for Anthony Calandria, and that would have been 6 right there for the Rebels.
Now 2nd and 10, trips right in shotgun formation. Calandria, designated rollout right, stepping forward to Earl, caught. No, he loses it as he hits the ground. If he would have caught it, it would have been inside the 10 for a 1st and goal. But 2 incompletions makes it 3rd down for the Rebels.
And as you said, Wyatt, UNLV has done a great job of making sure their QB does not get a lot of pressure. So what do? They roll the pocket out and allow Calandria to bootleg once again to his right side, allow him to square his shoulders up, and he gives JoJo Earl the only shot to catch the ball. Unfortunately, Earl is unable to come down with that pass.
Ball still at the Utah State 39. Empty formation here for Calandria. See if he can make some magic on 3rd down. Across the middle, finds Bradley. It's caught at the 24-yard line They officially mark it at the 24.5, and that's a first down for UNLV on a big third down conversion.
And once again, the two have been electric so far this year. Jaden Bradley able to corral the ball on a back shoulder on that inside dig route to be able to pick up the first down, and they have been absolutely electric so far together this year. They have been the perfect tandem for QB and wide receiver for this UNLV team, and that's a first down for the Rebels.
15-yard pickup. UNLV starts in the full pistol, then a quick motion, handoff. McGee right side, breaks the tackle. Next, another one inside the 10. Brought down at the 9. It's going to be first and goal for UNLV by the legs of Caden McGee.
Caden McGee, again, UNLV has such depth on the offensive side of the football. And right there, that's a wrinkle that we have not seen from this offense so far this year. Them using Caden McGee as a wide receiver and allowing him to take that jet sweep to the outside and pick up that first down. But you got to know, that happens from all the hard work he's had on special teams and in practice so far to get that play for him called right there.
Big play McGee with a 15-yard pickup. First and goal at the 9. Earl, the motion man to the left side. Calandria, shotgun formation. Ball loose on the ground, fumbled. Anthony Calandria able to jump on it, and it's a loss of 4. Ball will be spotted at the 13.
And right there, Anthony Calandria and Kevon Lee having a miscommunication on that play. But Anthony Calandria had the wherewithal to get on top of the football, not allow this promising UNLV drive to get thwarted because of a fumble and allow it to go into the Aggies' hands. Here on 2nd and 13, still, you're playing on 1st and goal. Everything right now needs to be getting into the end zone. If it's not getting into the end zone, you need to settle for 3 here. But good job by Anthony Calandria to get the ball and get on top of it.
Lengthy drive, less than 5 minutes to go here. Still scoreless at Allegiant Stadium. UNLV on the move. First and goal at the 13. Across the corner. Incomplete. Hit the hands of Jaden Bradley, but it was broken up on the play by Noah Avenger. Great defensive hands there by the senior from New Mexico.
Noah Avenger doing a great job in coverage to not have any defensive pass interference or holding call against Jaden Bradley on that play. Jaden Bradley had the opportunity to high point the football, and he was able to almost come down with that, but because of Avenger's hands and fighting through the whistle, he made a great play, setting up this big 3rd and goal for the Rebels.
3rd and goal at their own 13. UNLV without Jet Thomas. Calandria looking. Corner again. Just throws it too strong, intended for Lions, and it's going to set up a 4th down, bringing on the kicking unit.
That was a great job by the nickel corner, Dylan Tucker, the senior, 5'11", 200 pounds, coming in and being able to play great defense on that slot fade. It was a man-to-man going against Tayshawn Lyons and Tucker on that play, and unfortunately for UNLV, they were not able to get 6 out of this, but one of the most efficient kickers on the year, Viela, is going to be able to come in and hopefully get points on the board for this UNLV offense. What a great start they had, and unfortunately they weren't able to get 6 on the board.
And the 31-yarder is good, and Viela hits his 11th field goal of the season, and UNLV takes the lead 3-0 with 4:36 remaining here in the first quarter. You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sports Net. Well, UNLV Rebels lead early 3-0 here in the first quarter. 4:36 remains. You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sportsnet. Welcome inside Allegiant Stadium. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves. Coming into today, Jet Thomas was questionable at the press conference on Monday. Head coach Dan Mullen said he'll be good to go. He's ready. We saw him warming up earlier. They don't warm up with the pads, but we do see him in street clothes on the sideline, and so he is out for today's game. And we saw a little bit of the trickery and the creativity on that drive that ended in 3 points here for the UNLV offense.
And right here, there's going to be different wrinkles for Corey Dennis in this offense and what you see today. And it's probably going to be more pass heavy. But on that last drive, we saw them commit to the running backs that they have in this room. They know that there is still a lot of talent with Kevon Lee and the performance that we saw with Jalen Glover in the last game. They are still going to be a team that is going to run the football and run it between the tackles. You're going to see a lot of power running specifically with Kevon Lee because of that big size, 6'2", and that 200-pound frame to be able to run in between the tackles and take on a lot of the carries for Jet Thomas. But still, the name of the game for this UNLV team, if they want to be successful, is playing on defense and getting stops. They've done that so far with that one drive for the Utah State Aggies. They need to do it once again on this drive.
And a touchback there from the true freshman, Noah White. So the Aggies will start at their own 25 once again. This time their second outing here on offense, led by quarterback Bryson Barnes, who last week against UNR, 20 of 27, 288 yards through the air, and 3 touchdowns to tack on with it. Unable to get points on their first drive from a miss from Tanner Rinker. They're looking to change that up here. 1st and 10 at their own 25. 4:36 remains here in the first. Little RPO action across the middle. Connects. Pagan across the UNLV territory and brought down at the 45 for a big gain.
And you love that effort right there by Braden Pagan to be able to come from that slot receiver position and move the sticks, get shifty, make Jake Pope look like he was seeing stars on that play. But they're able to move the chains, and a lot of it, they had that same type of play call try to go on that first drive, and unfortunately the ball was too high to their tight end, and they were not able to complete it. But right there, Pagan able to get the ball and get the yak ability right there.
30-yard play. And they're now going to their other big receiver, Brady Boyd, down the near sideline. Just overthrows him too far to the left. In coverage is Andrew Powdrell. Going back to that original play that set up 1st and 10 at the 45. Just great design there by the offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern.
And Kevin McGivern is going to let these guys play. He knows the playmakers that he has in this offense, in this room, not only with his quarterback, but with his receivers. And right there, what do they do on first down on the new set of downs? They throw another shot on the play, and unfortunately, they were not able to connect. But we're going to see them test this UNLV secondary all day today.
Barnes, play action, going to keep it up the middle and brought down inside the 30 at the 27. In fact, that wasn't Barnes. That was Garcia with the keeper. Good play there. A little trickery from the Aggies.
And right there, Anthony Garcia, he's actually the backup quarterback for this offense, and they use him in a lot of ways. He had a passing or a receiving touchdown last week when they played against the University of Nevada, Reno, and he's going to be a weapon in this offense that they can deploy at any time.
1st and 10 at the 28. Handoff to the left side. Wide open gap is Davis. Cuts outside, but is brought down by Powdrell. Potentially a big play if Powdrell's not able to bring him down near the 15.
And right here, you had Utah State on the outside counter to give Miles Davis downhill. And if it wasn't for Andrew Powdrell, you love to see that from your boundary corner, staying involved in a football game and doing his job as a corner on the outside in the run fit. Usually the defense wants to run to corners on the outside because they're supposed to be weak tacklers. Andrew Powdrell said, and I'm going to get this stop for my team.
So now 1st and 10 at the UNLV 17. Play action across the middle. Behind him is Garcia. Unable to connect. If he would have caught it and put it right where it needed to be, that would have been a walk-in touchdown for Utah State.
And right here, Utah State showing more wrinkles of that RPO offense. Within that RPO offense, the offensive line is taught that every single one of those plays is a run play. You're never going to see them go backwards. You're going to see them move forward in the pocket. And it's up to quarterback Bryson to be able to figure out whether he's going to give it to his running back or keep it to throw the football.
Trips right here. Brady Boyd in motion from left to right. Barnes looking across the middle, fires, hands deflecting by Amaris Brown, one of the top nickelbacks in the country. Able to make a great defensive stop there. Seatbelt coverage.
Seatbelt coverage right there by Amaris Brown, being able to play over the middle. When you're playing that nickelback position, and oftentimes when you're a man-to-man, he had no safety help over the top. It is mano y mano, me versus you, best against best, and right there he was able to get the stop for the UNLV defense, setting up another 3rd and long. We've seen what they were doing in this last position on the last drive. Let's see if UNLV's defense can hold the Aggies to 3 here.
Big 3rd down at the 17 in UNLV territory, going for the fade. Far corner, Brady Boyd, touchdown Utah State. A 17-yard strike to regain the lead for the first time today.
And Bryson Barnes puts this ball where only Brady Boyd can get it. Again, one-on-one against Amaris Brown in the slot. And what do? They run the slot fade. He's able to get Amaris Brown and stack him. That means he's in front of the DB, and he's able to know and dictate where he's going to go with that route. He has a two-way go, and he's able to get that in for 6 for the Aggies.
And they're going to go for 2 here. A little bit of trickery, and they reset to the PAT. Little odd seeing that one. Brady Boyd, 5 catches, 117 yards last week against UNR. Caught 2 touchdowns, one of those being a 53-yard house call. And the PAT is no good. They got a little too creative for their own good. So the score is 6-3 with 2:21 remaining here in the first quarter. From Allegiant Stadium, you're listening to Rebel Sports Net. Seven plays, 75 yards, and just 2 minutes and 15 seconds of time of possession. The Aggies are able to put up 6, but Tanner Rinker having a rough day so far. Missed the field goal and missed the PAT, so the score is currently 6-3 with 2:21 remaining here in the first quarter. And this offense for the Aggies finally woke up here on their second drive of the day.
And right here for the Aggies, if it isn't broke, sometimes you got to try again. Right there, they went back-to-back plays targeting Amaris Brown in that slot, and on the second try, they were able to get the touchdown to Brady Boyd on that slot fade. But you still got to like what you're seeing from this UNLV defense. Again, a little bit of bend, don't break. But if you're Utah State, you're going to want those points back. Having those 2 missed kicks, they're going to come back to haunt them in a later point in this football game. This is going to be a very highly competitive contest, and you need points. They're going to be at a premium, knowing how well and how efficient and effective both of these offenses are coming into this game.
Both teams 3-2 in conference play. near the middle of the pack, top 5, both of them. And with that being said, Jalen Glover with the touchback, so UNLV will start at their own 25. Anthony Calandria and company are looking to put some points on the board here. First and 10 with 2:21 remaining here in the first quarter. UNLV trails 6-3. And the direct snap to Glover. Finds a gap, goes to the outside, cuts back in, and is falling down at the 40 after a gain of 15.
And I love that play call by Corey Dennis, not giving the ball to Anthony Calandria, but you have Jalen Glover, and he's able to take the direct snap, get to the second level, and if he doesn't get one open lane, he might have got that for a house call. He's doing his best Jet Thomas impression today. But again, the guy had a great performance last week against Colorado State, over 100 yards rushing for this team. He's going to be extremely effective and needed today to win here against the Aggies.
First and 10 at their own 40. Calandria, pocket breaks down across the middle. Catch inside Utah State territory and brought down at the 48 is Jaden Bradley for another UNLV first down.
I love that play right there by Jaden Bradley. He's able to diagnose and see that Utah State is going to be playing zone coverage. So what does he do for his receiver? I like Jaden Bradley because he reminds me of Stephon Diggs. Both of those guys eat up zone coverages because they can recognize if you're playing cover 3, cover 2, or man-to-man. Right there, he sits in the zone and allows Anthony Calandria to find him.
Empty formation for Calandria. 4 receivers on the right side. Calandria looking to that right, across the middle, tip pass, and incomplete. It falls down at the 35. Bradley streaking across and unable to find him there. It's going to be second down.
And right there, you have the Utah State Aggies just being able to get a hand on the football and redirect that pass from Calandria. I would have liked him to take that check down to the outside, and Nick Elkson is on that play. But the guy's a gunslinger. He's going to look to push the ball downfield to his playmakers. That's just going to be a ball that got away from him there.
Tip pass by Mytara Brown, the sophomore from Snow College. Sets up second and 10 at the 48. Handoff Glover, left side. Doesn't get much of anything. He might have gotten a yard. Gets to the line of scrimmage at least, and it's going to be third and long with less than a minute to go here in the first quarter.
It's a big-time effort there by the Utah State defensive line to be able to plug all the holes and gaps. We've seen them so far get gashed by the UNLV offense through the tackles and between the line of scrimmage. But right there on that play, they made sure that Jalen Glover had nowhere to go and is forcing UNLV into a clear pass-down situation here at their own 51-yard line.
Third and 10, ball at the Utah State 48. Calandria, shotgun formation. Looking across the middle, fires, connects. Bradley stutter steps back inside, makes a man miss, picks up the first down, hit in the head, and thrown down by some defenders. But it's too little, too late. After the first down, tackled officially at the 33, and we have an injured Aggie on the field. So we're going to step aside. With 4 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Looks like targeting. A lot of action, more to come here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back here inside Allegiant Stadium. Fresh off the injury timeout, Wyatt Touchet, Johnnie Graves, a 15-yard catch to Tayshawn Lyons. And an Aggie goes down from his own teammate trying to blast Lyons across the middle. Looked like targeting from our angle, but at the same time, he took out one of his teammates. Looked like he is okay. Everyone able to huddle together and regroup before the end of the first quarter here, Johnny.
And it looks like the referees today are going to let these guys play a little bit physical. You had a lot of contact and just aggressive football at the end of that last play with them trying to get Tayshawn Lyons down on the ground. You had a guy with a little bit of a neck crank on Tayshawn Lyons on that last play. But you have to love the wherewithal from Anthony Calandria to be able to stay in the pocket, deliver that drag route to Tayshawn Lyons to pick up the first down, to keep the chains moving for this UNLV offense, to make sure that they stay within striking distance with this high-powered Utah State offense.
As we were talking here, they decide to finally roll the clock to zeros. So 15 minutes down here, end of the first quarter. The Utah State Aggies lead on the road 6-3. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back here inside the Las Vegas desert. A rainy day here, but fortunately here inside the Death Star, Johnny, it is a very comfortable atmosphere here inside Allegiant Stadium. Current score 6-3 at the beginning of the second quarter. UNLV trails by 3, but it could be more because Utah State's kicker Tanner Rinker has missed 4 points, 1 missed field goal and 1 missed PAT. And this offense coming back out onto the field, 1st and 10, ball at the Aggie 33.
Empty formation here for the Rebels. Spread out the offense and allow Anthony Calandria to diagnose whether it's man-to-man or zone defense.
Here we go, Calandria, 1st and 10. Drops back, looking. Far sideline, has a man. Caught! Touchdown, Rebels! 33-yard catch has been deemed incomplete. It looked like it was going to be caught by Gums. Referee says he does not catch it. Johnny, let's take a look at the replay here. Hits him in the hands. It does not survive the ground. A very unfortunate play there for the Rebels, who thought they had 6.
And right there, Varkey's Gums ran into the turf monster on that play. He absolutely had the ball. He was able to make a snapshot with his hands, get that freeze frame. Anthony Calandria put the ball on the money on the rail shot to the end zone, and unfortunately, he was not able to survive the ground. But it looks like the referees are going to go over this play to deem whether or not he had control of the football on that play.
And so a quick timeout here on the field. A review will be made on that play.
It looks like
but no, they changed their mind. So it'll be 2nd and 10 at the Utah State 33. Trips left here. Pistol formation for the Rebels. Glover in the backfield with Calandria. 17 on the play clock. Calandria, play action, rolling right, and the whistle's blown dead 5 seconds after the play. He would have walked into the end zone. So 2 potential touchdown opportunities. What is going on from the referees?
And I don't know if it's a rainy day, but it looks like they granted a timeout there for the Aggies before the play started.
It'll be a 30-second timeout. So we saw 2 potential touchdown plays from the Rebel offense. They're at the Utah State 33. They've had the possession for about 22 minutes, it says here on the stat sheet. That doesn't look right. Probably 7-ish minutes. Johnny, what are you seeing from this offense so far here through a quarter and a half of play?
So far today on this UNLV offense, it really has been them being able to execute. They just have to execute now in the red zone. They've been able to push the ball down the field, convert on 3rd down, and get into scoring position. Now on this drive for the Rebels, they have to punch this one in for 6, not settle for a field goal. But if they do, they still have to be able to understand that because of the 2 missed kicks by Kenner earlier on in this football game, they are still within striking distance and are setting themselves up to be successful. I like when they go empty formation because it has allowed Anthony Calandria to diagnose what options are there for him, and they go right back to it on this play.
And once again, empty formation. Calandria, 2nd and 10. Ball at the 33 in Utah State territory. Pressure, evades the sack, looking to extend the play. Far down sideline, intercepted. The Aggies pick it off and stop the drive. Intercepted by Bronson Olival, the junior from Salt Lake City, Utah, with the turnover.
And right there on the play, you have Anthony Calandria trying to be the playmaker that he is, and he forces the ball in the harm's way. We haven't seen him do a lot of that so far this year, which is why the Rebels are 7-2 on the season. He's been very comfortable and very poised with the football. Right there, that was a force to Elksonus, and that's going to be a play that he's going to want back, especially knowing that there was potentially points on the board there for the Rebels.
The Aggies will take over on the other side. They lead 6-3 with 14:42 remaining in the first half. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back here inside Allegiant Stadium. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves here on the call on Rebel Sports Net. UNLV football fresh off the interception from Anthony Calandria to Bronson Olivao Jr. And this Aggie offense will take over at their own 18.
And what an effort right there by Olivao, the inside linebacker, to be able to play out in coverage, see ball, and get the ball in his hands to be able to make a nice catch on defense for this Aggies team. And that's exactly what they need. They have an opportunity here to go down the field and extend their lead against the Rebels at home and quiet this home crowd here for the Rebels.
1st and 10 at their own 18. Barnes, play action, rolling right. Near sideline, thrown out of bounds, and it's going to be an incomplete pass.
Blanket coverage across the board, but it all starts with the pressure up front by Aggies being able to force Bryson to be able to push the ball to the outside of the field and not have an accurate pass. And because of the tight man-to-man coverage across the board by Powdrill, UNLV is able to get a stop on 1st and 10.
Jose Aggies, the senior from Encino, California, with the pressure there on Barnes. 2nd and 10 at their own 18. Barnes going to keep it to the right side, cuts back in, bringing down a couple Rebels with him after a gain of 8 near the 26.
And at the start of the snap, UNLV's defensive line, they shifted their coverage. They shifted where they were going to go on those running lanes. And Utah State was able to use the QB keeper with Bryson Barnes on the outside, pull those linemen, pull that offensive guard to be able to get to the right side of that Aggie offensive line and push the pocket. Now it's a 3rd and 2 here for the Rebels. Everything needs to be getting downhill and making sure tackles.
3rd and 2 at their own 26. Quick pass outside and connects with Brock Lane, the graduate student from Chandler, Arizona, for a 1st down.
And what a great job right there by Bryson Barnes to be able to get the ball on the outside, be able to move and square up his shoulders on the outside to give the ball to Lane. And Lane being able to have the wherewithal to know where the sticks were, make the nice toe tap catch on the sideline to be able to move the sticks here for the Aggies.
Ball at the 29-yard line, shotgun formation here. Heavy set on the line, play action. The RPO breaks down, and he falls near the 25. So it's going to be a loss of about 4 for this Aggie offense, who has been rolling today so far.
And I love that change in personnel by Paul Gunther on that play. He sends Amarish Brown for that nickel position and has him blitz off the edge, and the tight ends are not able to cover him. He's able to force Bryson to go up into the pocket, and unfortunately he's able to take the sack there for the Aggies, and UNLV's defense has to continue to put pressure on the quarterback and make sure he's uncomfortable back there today.
Empty formation, looking for the receiver screen. He's going to keep it up the middle, picks up the 1st down a little bit more. Brought down by Patterson at the 42, and it's a 1st down for Utah State.
And what an amazing play call right there by offensive coordinator, being able to go and move the ball downfield. But you had Danny Bowen be able to take the ball. That's actually Bryson being able to take the ball and move it to the 2nd level of this defense of UNLV. But that whole play started because of UNLV playing man-to-man and not having any linebackers in the vicinity and middle of the field right there.
Pistol formation on 1st and 10. The keeper to the left side, Barnes, using his legs to pick up another 1st down for the Aggies inside UNLV territory. Brought down at the 47-yard line.
And much like Anthony Calandria for the Rebels, we see Bryson Barnes is the 2nd leading rusher on this team, and he has been able to use his legs effectively today. And if it wasn't for UNLV and Andrew Powdrill having such a good effort to get him down to the ground, we might be seeing that Bryson Barnes would still be running right now and hopefully end up in the end zone.
Play action here. Barnes rolling right. Wide open is White. Near sideline, cuts back in, inside the UNLV 10, fighting for the extra yards, and brought down at the 1. Barnes, who had 40 rushing yards last week, has 36, but decides to use his arm to go deep for the first down there. Huge pickup for this Aggie offense.
And when you're able to run the ball effectively, you're making the defense come downhill and be more aggressive and try to fight for the football and try to get downhill. Right there, Bryson Barnes keeps it on the play action pass, pushes the ball downfield, and due to a lack of communication in the back end between Trey Fulton and LaTerrence Welsh, they're unable to get Wyatt down to the ground.
47-yard pickup, 1st and goal at the 1. Gonna keep it to the right side, almost falls, stumbling, falling forward. Gonna have to wait to see where they mark it. Looks like he's a half a yard short from the goal line, and that's gonna bring us 2nd and goal here.
It's a good effort by Jake Pope to be able to get his nose dirty, get down, and tackle the quarterback. He understands this goal-to-goal situation. Everybody needs to have hard hats to the football, and they're able to get him down to the ground before he can cross the plane.
Utah State leads 6-3 with just 10:25 remaining here in the first half. Under center, Barnes. Handoff, Davis up the middle. He's in. Touchdown, Utah State. Off the 1-yard carry. And it's now a 2-score game for the Aggies on the road.
And Miles Davis being able to take the I formation handoff from Barnes to be able to trumpet in for the touchdown and get this Utah State band rumming here at Allegiant Stadium. Right now, this Utah State Aggies team offensively has been able to move the ball effectively against this UNLV defense, and they are hopefully looking to get a 10-point lead with 10 minutes to go left in the second quarter for the Aggies.
That is Davis's 10th total touchdown of the season right there. And an injured Rebel on the field, able to walk off on his own. Hope he is okay. With 10-12 to go here in the second quarter, awaiting the PAT from Rinker, who has not made a field goal or a PAT so far with 2 attempts. And an offside on the PAT on UNLV. That's going to go against Adelea.
And right there, just a lack of discipline by the UNLV defense and special teams unit on this situation. They have to know better than to allow this Utah State Aggies team to get closer to their end zone, because now you allow them to get the opportunity to get those points back that they missed earlier on in this game with a 2-point conversion.
And they will decline, and they will take the PAT. Head coach Bronco Mendenhall in his first season with Utah State as the head coach declines the penalty and will elect to kick the PAT here. So ball will still be spotted at the 3. Awaiting the PAT. Score is currently 12-3. 2-score game here for the Aggies. Hiram Hatch, the long snapper, clean to Landon Rico, the hold, and the kick is up and in. Aggies lead by 10, 13-3, 10-12 here, remaining in the first half. You're listening to UNLV football here from Allegiant Stadium on Rebel Sports Net. 9 plays, 82 yards in just 4 minutes and 30 seconds. A huge play by Noah Wyatt, 47-yard catch and run to set up a 1st and goal. And the Aggies were able to punch it in with Davis, who ended up scoring the touchdown. And the Aggies lead 13-3 with just 10-12 to go here in the first half.
And right there on that last position, you had Miles Davis, the Las Vegas high school graduate, coming back home. A little bit of a homecoming for him today, being able to take that I formation handoff and punch it in the end zone on an Aggie drive where they were able to take the ball and move basically the length of the football field and get in the scoring position and punch it in for 6. Now for UNLV, their backs against the walls again. We've seen them in this position before so far this year, and they're going to have to do it once again. And it starts with Ant-Man being able to make amends for that last turnover, that interception on the last drive, and put 6 on the board for this UNLV offense.
And we've seen this time and time again. The only time where it caught them was against New Mexico when they were down big. But throughout this entire season, Ant-Man has been able to put this team on his back and be able to come back from deficits larger than just a 10-point lead. And he's going to have to do it here once again if they want to stay alive for their hopes potentially for a Mountain West championship. Now the odds are slimmer, probabilities are closer, smaller, but nonetheless, it's 1st and 10 here at their own 25. Calandria, shotgun formation, handoff lead to the right side, has some lead blockers, and picks up a gain of 2, brought down at the 27.
And I like that. I like that from Corey Dennis, making the mentality that we are not going to shy away and get away from our game script and think that we're just going to air raid the football around. They still need to allow the running game to be a viable part of this offense, and that starts with Kevon Lee, especially with Jet Thomas out of this football game today. He is going to have to play within himself, but play a big role in this offense if UNLV wants to be successful.
2nd and 8 at their own 27. Quick pass outside, far side. Caught there by Omire near the 32. And that's going to be a gain of about 5 on the play.
And he is also going to have a big role in this offense today. They're going to need to get the most out of Troy Omire, and that starts with getting the ball his way. Right there, UNLV and Corey Dennis are able to hit him on the quick 5-yard hitch route to be able to get and eat up that outside coverage from the defensive backs, and he's able to catch that ball and set up an easy 3rd and 3 here for the Rebels.
Omire in motion to the right, play action. Shotgun formation, quick flat. Connects with Lee, brought out of bounds, past the 40, and it's a 1st down for UNLV. Good pickup there by Lee.
Love the play call and design by Corey Dennis. You have that offensive line there and make it look like you're going to run inside zone right up to gut to get that run. Nope, you give it to Kevon Lee and allow him to be a pass catcher out of the backfield. Give the ball to your playmaker and let him get the 1st down for the Rebels. Great job and execution by them on that play.
Now sets up 1st and 10 at their own 41. Lee with 22 yards on the ground. Calandra roll out left, using his legs, trying to create space in the pocket. O-lineman in the secondary, so he has to use his legs. Brought down at the 45 and a flag thrown at the 44. I'm curious who that's going to be on there, Johnny.
Very curious, but big part of this play for Anthony Calandria, him not forcing the ball downfield. Because he did not see any receivers or tight ends get open on that play, he did not put the ball in harm's way like we saw him do on the last drive. He simply got as many yards as he could and has allowed this offense to pick up a 15-yard face mask penalty call on the play.
Face mask going to be on number 28, Carson Touchet, the redshirt freshman from BYU. Tackling Calandria at the face mask. So now it sets up 1st and 10 inside Utah State territory at the 40. Clock is ticking, 8:15 here to go in the first half. Shotgun formation, Calandria. Handoff to Lee, up the middle, breaks the tackle, stumbling forward, and falls down at the 37 for a gain of 3.
And I love that. As a running back, you know that Kevon Lee and Jet Thomas have to have tons of conversations about making the first guy miss and not going down from the first contact. He's able to shrug off a defender from an arm tackle, says, get off of me, and he's mad that he didn't pick up more yards on that play. You love to see that from your second-string running back filling in for Jet Thomas today. He's ran hard between the tackles, and he's going to continue to have to do so for this team to be successful.
Pistol formation, trips left. Play action, looking, far side. Some contact, no good. Incomplete pass intended for Troy Omire. In coverage there for the Aggies, D'Angelo Mays. And it's going to be an incomplete pass, setting up a 3rd and 7 here for the Rebels.
And D'Angelo Mays, 6'1", 180 pounds, and he had to use all of it to stay in coverage with Troy O'Meara. The 6'4" wide receiver is a big target, but he was right in his hip pocket, doing a great job from that outside cornerback position to not let go and not lose the eyes of the hips of the receiver. He stayed on him and set up a long 3rd and 7 here for the Rebels.
Aggies lead 13-3, 3rd and 7 at the Aggies 37. Across the middle, dangerous pass, incomplete. Intended there for Coy Moore. And this offense is still going to stay out on the field on 4th down.
And that was a little bit of a force there by Anthony Calandria. There were a lot of defenders in the area because they were playing a hybrid zone and man-to-man defense. And Coy Moore got lit up on that play. Now, with Dan Mullen understanding that they're going to need points, big 4th down call here for the Rebels.
60% 4th down conversion rate for this offense. Let's see if they can do it on 4th and 7. Across the middle, incompleted pass. O'Meara with the catch. Makes up for a couple plays ago and keeps this drive alive for the Rebels.
Take me through there, take me through there. Troy O'Meara being able to take that slant route and get the 1st down for the Rebels, and he is going to be needed today. We've heard of what Jaden Bradley has been able to do so far for this team, but Troy O'Meara needs to be the big body X receiver and big target for the Rebels when they need it most. He was able to do it on that play to keep the chains moving and keep this team in scoring distance and scoring position.
1st and 10 at the Aggies 21. Trickery here, left side. A potential for a reverse, breaks the tackle. Calandria falls down at the 14.5-yard line after a gain of 7. They were looking to reverse it. He kept it and kept running to the left side.
And right there, it's looking like they've been playing a little bit of Madden, a little bit of that superstar KO from the UNLV Rebels and Corey Dennis with the play design on that play. But they know the weapon that they have with Anthony Calandria. When he's able to use his legs and get outside of the pocket, it is always a positive for this Rebel offense. Right there, they pick up 6 yards out of the play and don't put the football in harm's way.
Cam Friel, the senior, in on this play. He's going to keep it up the middle. Breaks a tackle, falling forward at the 10, move the chains. A gain of 5 there for the Rebels.
And right there, you love to see it from Corey Dennis, adding another wrinkle to this offense. We saw how they use Alex Orji in the beginning of the year, using that dual quarterback system. We saw Cameron Field at the end of the Colorado State game being able to be an option in this offense. I love him being able to go right there, take that QB power for the 1st down.
Shotgun formation on 1st and goal. Trips right. Calandria makes a man miss. Wide open on the left side. Diving effort. Ant-Man is in. Touchdown Rebels. A 10-yard run. Making a man miss. Looking like an Allen Iverson crossover. And number 10 diving in.
Ant-Man taking one jump cut and shows that maybe Jet Thomas gave him his wheels and his cutting ability today, and he's able to jump in the end zone for 6. But number four, Brevin Hamlin, the safety, 6'5", 200 pounds, stood no chance on that play. Anthony Calandria put 1 foot in the ground, and he was gone, able to get to the 2nd level, jump through the pylon, and get on the board for 6 for the Rebels. You love that answer and the gutsy call by Dan Mullen on 4th down to go for it to get this team in the end zone.
And what a play by Anthony Calandria, who makes a man miss, not just some regular player. It is Brevin Hamlin, who is top 10 in the Mountain West for total tackles, and he makes him look silly there. The score is now 13-10 with 5:27 remaining here in the 1st half. 11 plays, 75 yards, 4:45 time of possession. And the Rebels answer with 7 of their own by the legs of Anthony Calandria, who took off and took flight for a 10-yard run and touchdown. The score is 13-10 here inside Allegiant Stadium. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves. 5:27 remains here in the half. And this defense could get a stop here for a huge momentum shift late in the first half.
Yes, and there's an opportunity here for the Rebels to get a stop on defense and give that high-powered offense the football back, potentially tie the football game up or take the lead here at Allegiant Stadium. But I love the execution from this offense on that last drive, and Dan Mullen and Corey Dennis having enough trust in their quarterback Ant-Man to put the ball in his hands, find his playmaker in Troy O'Meara, and pick up that big 4th down. They needed it to be able to get 6 in that situation and keep pace with this Utah State Aggie offense.
Caden Costa with the kickoff. White deep back will decide for the touchback. And so this Aggie offense will start at their own 25.
And right here, if you're the Aggies, you want to stay aggressive. You want to continue to run the ball between the tackles and use that QB run game, that RPO, run-pass option game to your advantage. And let's see if UNLV's defense can put pressure on 1st and 2nd down to force them to throw the ball.
136 yards through the air from Barnes, and he's going to use his legs here. Brought down near the 28 for 28, excuse me, for a gain of about 3, brought down by Chief Borders.
And what a great job by Chief Borders and Isaiah Patterson, both being able to come from Chief Borders from that defensive end position, filling in the run fit, and Isaiah Patterson helping them clean it up. But we've seen again, Utah State on the first play goes right back to that QB power game.
And an explosive play last drive for the Aggies, looking to find some success again. RPO, far sideline, has the step. Brady Boyd, no good. Just a little short there. And in coverage is Mumu Bin Wahad. An incomplete pass, bringing up a crucial 3rd down here for the Utah State offense.
And they try to shake a shot again with those nickel corners for UNLV, Mumu Bin Wahad and Amaris Brown. In that situation, Mumu Bin Wahad did not have a crucial defensive pass interference call on that play. He was able to stay in phase, stay in coverage, and didn't allow the referee to throw the flag. Big 3rd down here for the Aggies and for the Rebels.
3rd and 7 at their own 28. Empty formation for Barnes. Looking left. Going through his progression. Sacked! Brought down by Jake Pope. And a quick 3 and out here from this Aggie offense. A great stop and a momentum shift for UNLV.
And I love the play call from Paul Gunther to send multiple defensive backs stunning and allowing this defensive line to get after the quarterback. You had Mumu Bin Wahad come from his nickel back position and Jake Pope come from that safety position to go down in the box, get after the quarterback, put pressure on him, and get him down to the ground. Big stop there for the Rebels to give Ant-Man the football back.
Landon Rico, for the first time today, punts this one from his own 24. Irvin back. Caught it at the 27 and brings it out near the 29 for only a 3-yard return. So the UNLV offense will come out with 4:03 remaining. All 3 timeouts here left in the 2nd quarter.
And if you're the Rebels, you want to have a good drive here. You do not want to allow Utah State to get the football back, and that starts with running the ball. You're going to want to see Kevon Lee and Jalen Glover play a role in this drive to keep the chains moving, and then when they have to, pass the ball to the playmakers on the outside.
So the ball is officially spotted at the 30 after a 4-yard return. 3-yard return from Irvin. So 1st and 10 here, trips left, shotgun formation, the delay draw. And it's Glover up the middle, brought down at the 33 after a gain of 3.
And that's what Corey Dennis goes right to on the first play of scrimmage right there for the Rebels. He gives the ball to Jalen Glover and lets him take the delayed inside zone. He finds the hole, gets as many yards as he can, takes care of the football, gets down to the ground, setting up a 2nd and 7. But the biggest thing is that clock is continuing to churn in the Rebels' favor. They want to be able to be the last ones with the football to end the half.
2nd and 7, pistol formation at their own 33. Calandria, play action, looking left. Time, far sideline, has the step, just overthrows Gums. Incomplete pass.
That was great man-to-man coverage on the outside between Gums and number 30, Jack Hadfield for that Utah State Aggies. He was able to stick on Gums and force him to try to dive for that catch, but because of that coverage, he was unable to get it. But I love the effort right there in the backfield by Jalen Glover, being able to block at that running back position for Anthony Calandria and give him enough time to push the ball downfield. But here's another big third down play call. We've seen the Aggies get off the field on 3 and out. Let's see what the Rebels do here.
UNLV 3rd and 7. Across the middle, fighting for that extra yard. Day-Day Reynolds going to await the spot. It's near the 40. Really close. It's going to be a game-time decision for Corey Dennis if he's going to want to go for it. Looks like this offense will stay out on the field. It's going to be 4th and inches here for the Rebel offense.
And once again, we've seen this UNLV team be able to pick up those first downs on those simple drag routes when they see that they were going against zone coverage. And that was another instance. Day-Day Reynolds would have liked to know where the sticks were in that situation instead of allowing that shoestring tackle to get him down on the ground. But big timeout here. It looks like the Rebels are going to think what they're going to do in this situation and change up their personnel potentially to pick up this first down.
The Aggies trying to sub in a player late, so they decide to take their second timeout of the half with 2:44 remaining. Quick timeout break. Don't go anywhere. More action on the other side. Thanks for sticking with us here on Rebel Sports Net. You're listening to UNLV football. They trail by 3, 13-10. Big 4th and 1 here at their own 39. UNLV's going to go for it. The ball's maybe 4th and inches. 2:44 remains. Just coming off the Utah State timeout. Shotgun formation, twins right. And the whistle blows from the far sideline. A timeout now from UNLV. It's their first of the half. We're going to keep it here. A quick snapshot for that sideline to see what the defense came out in. What did you see there from Utah State's defense that they're going to try to make an adjustment and plan and scheme for this next 4th down?
It looked like Utah State in that situation, knowing that knowing that there's a run-pass option available for UNLV because of the down and distance, they were going to play man-to-man defense. Because of that, Dan Mullen knew that in this situation they had to set up the right play call. You want to call a timeout to make sure that Anthony Calandria and Corey Dennis know what they truly are going to do in this situation. For them, I want them to have Anthony Calandria moving and allow him to have options. If they bootleg and allow him to either get the ball to the outside to Jaden Bradley, Day-Day Reynolds, Troy O'Meara, and those receivers on the outside for an easy pitch and catch, or if he doesn't have those guys and he has the opportunity to get the first down with his legs, he can get it.
So empty formation here. Calandria by himself. Kevon Lee motion to the left side. 4th and 1. 2:44 here in the second quarter remains. Ball at the 39. Some motion. Keeper met at the line of scrimmage and leveled for the stop. What a play by John Miller, who absolutely lays out Anthony Calandria.
John Miller, number 20, the Mike linebacker, is able to take and chip off the block from Nick Elsonis, and he comes downhill with bad intentions. He absolutely puts the thumping on Anthony Calandria, meets him in the A-gap, and gets this Utah State Aggies the football back on offense.
I mean, what a play from Miller, the senior from Oregon State. Had 7 total tackles last week, 1 solo, and that was all him. And he drove him straight to the ground. So this offense for the Aggies will take over at the UNLV 39. 1st and 10, 2:39 remains. They have 1 timeout, up by 3. Trips left, shotgun formation, looking. Open receiver far side, he has to keep it. and he's brought down at the 38 for a gain of 1. But if he was able to see Lane on the far sideline, that might have been a house call there for Utah State.
And again, it's a lack of communication in the back end, and the Rebels are lucky they got away with that play. Beautiful job by Blessing being able to once again be the QB spy. They've seen how Bryson Barnes has been able to gash them with his legs today, so Paul Gunther has made the adjustment to having one of his linebackers follow the QB at all times.
2nd and 9, Davis, the motion man to the left, looking, ample time, across the middle, wide open. Pagan brought down at the 22 for a gain of 16.
And it's just too easy. They're playing backyard football, and it's just a little bit of pitch and catch. Right there, Pagan is able to get the ball right there to Pagan, and he's able to move it for the first down. But because UNLV is playing zone defense, Bryson was able to diagnose the play, get the ball to his receiver across the middle, and now they're going to head into the 2-minute warning in great field position, looking to spread this game out.
Off the 15-yard in, that brings us to the 2-minute timeout. 13-10 here left in the first half. You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sportsnet. Fresh off the 2-minute timeout, 1:58 remains here in the first half. Utah State on the move, ball at the UNLV 23. They lead by 3, 13-10, and they're looking to put up more points on the board here inside Allegiant Stadium, Johnny.
And if you're Paul Gunther, Marcel McDuffie, and the rest of the leaders on defense for this team, everything right now needs to be bend but do not break. You've seen Utah State leave some points on the board so far this game because of those missed kicks. That still is an element in this football game. If you hold this team to 3, it is only a 6-point lead for the Aggies.
Shotgun formation. Boyd in motion to the left. Snap, play action, looking, fires across the middle, tipped, dropped by Garcia. Good hands there by McDuffie across the middle to break that one up. It's second down.
Marcel McDuffie playing from that linebacker spot. He's able to sit in his hook curl zone and put a hand on the football, and it deflects it so much so that when Anthony Garcia goes to get the ball, he can't correctly pinpoint where it's going to be, setting up a long 2nd and 10 freer for the Aggies.
Ball at the UNLV 23, trips right. Shotgun formation here. Barnes, hand off to Jacobs up the middle. Gets a gain of about 2, brought down at the 21. Jacob, the junior from New Mexico.
And
Brings up now a 3rd and 8.
And Javen Jenkins on that play had nowhere to go. Colin Fuller Sr. and Lucas Conti both did an amazing job from those nose tackle positions, filling that gap and not allowing him to explode to the second level. Big 3rd down here for the Rebels with 1:20 left in this football game.
13-10. The Aggies lead by 3. Ball at the UNLV 21. 3rd and 8. Barnes looking far side, one-on-one. Pagan, no good. Had one hand on the ball, unable to catch it and reel it in. And it's now 4th down. Decision time here for Coach Mendenhall. And he's going to bring on Rinker.
And Mumu bin Wahad, as a DB would, celebrating in the end zone, being able to get a big stop on 3rd down, which was almost a big highlight play. Pagan tried to use one hand to haul that ball in. Unfortunately, he was unable to corral it, and UNLV gets a stop on 3rd down.
A 39-yard attempt for Rinker. He missed a 41-yard earlier today. Minute 10 on the clock. Snap, hold, fake here. Rico brought down by Pope at the 32. They try to catch UNLV off guard and unable to. Jake Pope sniffed that one out, and they're coming out of there with no points on that drive.
And Jake Pope, his first sack on the game, showing everybody in the crowd that I'm not the 6, but I'm Mr. 7 on the football field here for the Rebels, able to get a big-time sack to not allow this Utah State Aggie team to get points on the board. And now Ant-Man will have a minute and 4 seconds to push the ball downfield, get into scoring position, and at least tie this football game up going into halftime, where UNLV will be getting the ball back in the second half to start the game.
I'm not the 6, I'm the 7. One of the worst 6-7 jokes I've heard in a long time. Trips right. Shotgun formation at their own 32. Keeper by Calandria, left side, breaks a tackle, hit in the head, no flags, and brought down on the play by Mays.
And right there, Anthony Calandria trying to make something happen, but UNLV is going to have to go hurry up tempo here to move the ball downfield with 45 seconds left.
45 seconds, 2 timeouts. Calandria rolls out right. No one open. Almost intercepted. Intended for Irvin. Broken up on the play there by Utah State. We got to go back to that 6-7 joke. What was that?
Hey, man, he's not number 6. He's number 7. And as a DB, sometimes you're going to have some numbers that are going to just be indicative of what you are. He's a safety. He's number 7 back there for the team. He's not the 6, and didn't allow 6 for the Utah State Aggies on that last play, and didn't allow them to get that fake touchdown off or fake pass off on special teams, and was able to get a big stop here for the Rebels. But this is a big 39 if they want to stay within striking distance in this game.
37 seconds across the middle. Caught Irvin. Moving forward. Brought down at the 48, 47. That's another first down for UNLV.
And great clock management by Dan Mullen, being able to call a timeout there to stop the clock.
Clock stops on the first down. He did not call a timeout. 2 timeouts remain. 25 seconds now and ticking. Calandria, pressure from the outside, has to roll out right. On the sideline, Day-Day Reynolds, does he get a foot down? He does. It's Kevon Lee, though. And a flag flies. They might have said he stepped out of bounds and then came back in.
Anthony Calandria and Kevon Lee being able to have enough toe drag swag on that play to get that pitch and catch, but there is a flag on the play. The referees are deciding if he was an eligible receiver and did not come from out of bounds to come inbounds to catch that pass.
Awaiting the call here on the field, and they will call illegal touching on Kevon Lee. It's going to be a loss of down. And it'll be second down here for the Rebels with 18 seconds and 2 timeouts.
And right here, if you're Corey Dennis, Anthony Calandria in this offense, you want to push the ball downfield. You know the weapons that you have in this wide receiver room. You want to be able to give them a shot downfield. You're looking at guys like Troy O'Meara and Jaden Bradley in this situation to stretch the defense out and see what you can get here on 2nd and 10.
Ball on their own 47, 2nd and 10. 18 seconds remain. UNLV trails by 3 with 2 timeouts. Calandria across the middle. Lee catches that one this time inside Utah State territory. Brought down near the 42, 41-yard line, and head coach Dan Mullen's going to call a timeout with 10 seconds here in the first half.
And it looks like there is going to be a timeout here for UNLV to be able to keep the chains moving and get points on the board for this team. But I like Anthony Calandria being able to take the checkdowns and understand where the sticks were, get the ball to your safety valve and your outlet, and push the ball downfield. Right now, they're going to want to try to tie this football game up and keep things moving. And if they're able to tie this game up going into this second half, knowing that they haven't had the biggest and most success that we've seen from this UNLV offense so far this year in this game, but they can right the ship in the second half. We've seen how this team has been able to start slow and get it going in the second half and lead to explosive outputs in the second half. That's what I want to see from Corey Dennis, but Anthony Calandria, he needs to continue the sharp play that he's had after that interception and continue to keep the ball pushing forward.
Ball is at the Utah State 41-yard line. From here would be about a 57-yard field goal for Ramon Viella, whose longest this season has been 50. Calandria stepping up, fires far sideline, tries to thread the needle. Does he catch it? No good. Incomplete pass intended for Omire, and there's 4 seconds on the clock here. UNLV does have one timeout. They are down by 3, and a big decision. Do they kick it, or do they try to run a quick play to get a couple yards to make it a more manageable kick for Ramon Viella?
And right here, the defensive coordinator for Utah State, Nick Howell, has done a great job of making sure that these defensive backs know where the down and distance are and also to get guys out of bounds. UNLV here is going to allow Viella to kick this ball, though.
It's going to be a 59-yard field goal from the leg of Viella. It's good if it goes. Does it have the distance? No, it does not. About a couple yards short. So we will head into halftime. 13-10, UNLV trails by 3. gloomy, stormy, rainy day here in the Valley. Welcome inside Allegiant Stadium. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves here on the call. Rebel Sports Net. You're listening to UNLV football. They currently trail by 3 at the halftime break, 13-10. Utah State has the lead. Second half's about to start. A lower scoring affair here inside Allegiant Stadium, the Death Star, Johnny. It's kind of a surprise. Both these teams top 3 in the Mountain West in scoring. And we haven't seen much. It's been a lot on the line of scrimmage, just fighting for those yards and making timely stops when it's been appropriate.
And maybe it's just due to the rain. Obviously, we're not playing outside, but here at Allegiant Stadium, it seems like both of these guys are stuck in – both of these offenses are stuck in the mud in terms of trying to push the ball downfield and trying to have explosive plays today. What we've seen so far for both teams, 215 total yards for Utah State, 202 for UNLV, but they haven't been able to take advantages of the situations they've had in scoring position. Both of these teams are going to have to execute when they are in the red zone if they want to come out of this game with a win. But you have to like what you've seen from the UNLV defense and the mindset they've had of bending but not breaking. I love the pressure looks that I've seen from Paul Gunther. And then on the Utah State side, they have done a great job of corralling Anthony Calandria and not allowing him to use his legs and have it be an explosive part of the offense. So far today, 6 carries for 17 yards. That's not usually what we're used to seeing for Anthony Calandria. Yes, he has that touchdown run, but they've done a good job of keeping him in the pocket and limiting his explosive plays today.
And with that being said, multiple opportunities for points to be scored, and they had not. A missed field goal and a missed PAT by Tanner Rinker. And then near the end of the half, they tried a creative fourth down play out of that field goal formation, stopped there by Jake Pope. And, of course, UNLV on the last 4 seconds in the first half. Missed field goal by Ramon Viella. And we will start here in the second half with UNLV coming out on offense at the 25.
And you can see for UNLV the difference this offense has looked like with Jet Thomas not in the backfield today. That is a key weapon to everything that Dan Mullen and Corey Dennis want to do with this offense. That guy has been such a key part and integral part of this offense and has led to Corey Dennis being a little bit, I would say, hesitant with some of his play calls today, but I want to see him open the playbook up a little bit more in the second half for the Rebels.
Currently sits 5th all-time in rushing touchdowns in the career at UNLV. First play here to the outside, near sideline. Caught there by Bradley at the 31 for a gain of 6.
And it's just like layup lines in basketball. This bootleg with Anthony Calandria and Jaden Bradley is their money play. That is their bread and butter. They love going back to it, and I love them starting it with a 6-yard pitch and catch to start the drive here for the Rebels.
So now 2nd and 4 at the 31-yard line. Earl, the motion man, to the left side. Handoff to Lee, fighting for yards, but brought down near the line of scrimmage by a number of Aggies. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and short here for the Rebels.
And the Aggies did such an amazing job of swarming to the football. You had multiple white jerseys in the area for Kevon Lee trying to get him down and forcing UNLV into another 3rd down situation. And if you're Corey Dennis in this offense, once again, use Anthony Calandria's legs to be able to pick up the first down here, wheel him out, and force the secondary to play man-to-man on the outside.
4 for 7 on 3rd down today. Lee motioned out to the flat to the left side. Calandria in harm's way, almost intercepted. Tipped up into the air by Noah Flores. And it's going to be a quick 3 and out here for the Rebels.
And Noah Flores, what a beautiful job coming from that linebacker position to be able to sit down in coverage. And actually, it's going to be inside linebacker John Miller that came up and made that play for Utah State to force the 3 and out for the Rebels right away in the second half and give the Aggies the football back.
So now Cam Brown coming out for the 2nd time today to punt early here in the second half. Deep back is Noah White for the Aggies. Kahanu Davis, correction, stepping out of bounds near their own 19-yard line, and that's where the Aggie offense will start here for their first drive in the second half.
What a booming punt right there by Cam Brown, the freshman coming out of high school, 6'2", 185 pounds, and using all of that weight to boot that ball and flip the field position here for the Rebels. And once again, Paul Gunther and this defensive unit has been highly scrutinized throughout the season with the way that they've been playing. But these last 2 games against Colorado State and Utah State, they have done a great job of being able to get to the football, making secure tackles, and limiting the offense. They need to keep it up here on this drive here for the Rebels.
215 yards of total offense for the Aggies. Quick pass to the outside, near sideline, caught, leveled on the outside by Powdrill. He does pick up the first down, but without taking a hit. Good play there. That's going to move the sticks for a first down for the Aggies.
And I like that play design, being able to get your playmaker the football. They're able to get number 8, Javen Jacobs, the running back. He catches it with a one-hand snag on the sideline on the flat route and picks up the first down for the Aggies.
1st and 10 at their own 31, 13-15 here in the third quarter. Barnes, play action across the middle. Ball up in the air, almost intercepted by UNLV. Marcel McDuffie just a tad bit too late. And it's going to be 2nd down here for Utah State.
And another wrinkle of the RPO game with Kevin McGivern, Bryson Barnes, and this offense. They try to go right back to it, and they have Bryson Barnes pull the football back out, and he goes and throws the ball on the outside. And the name of the game for UNLV in this defense has been turnovers so far this year. They have been elite at turning the football over, tips and overthrows. That's when they wish they could get back.
2nd and 10 at their own 31. Quick pass to the outside. Pagan caught. Catch and run out of bounds at the 38 for a gain of 7. Brought out of bounds by Welsh.
When it turns Welsh there on the outside, it was man-to-man. They were playing soft off-man coverage right there on that play, and all Payton had to do on that play was just take the easy yards and get upfield. He did that, but now the Rebels with their own opportunity to get off the football field here and put pressure on Barnes and force him to get the ball out quick to get the ball back to Anthony Calandria and this offense.
So Utah State's offense 4 for 7 on 3rd down here tonight. 3rd and 3 at their own 38. Barnes going to keep it, has some lead blocks, jumping, gets the first down, and is brought down at the 42.5, officially the 43. And that's going to move the chains here for the Aggies.
I know we're here in Las Vegas, Wyatt, but right there, Bryson Barnes levitated like Chris Angel to be able to get that first down for the Aggies. He absolutely put his body in harm's way, floated up in the air, didn't hurdle a man, absolutely dolphin dived for the first down on that play, but it was enough for the Aggies to move the chains.
1st and 10 at their own 43. Boyd, the motion man to the right. Play action near sideline. Garcia caught at the 46. And brought down inside UNLV territory by Powdrill for a first down.
And right there, Garcia being able to take that. He's the quarterback, and now they're using him like a wide receiver in this offense. But out there on the outside on the boundary quarter against Andrew Powdrill, he's able to eat up the empty cushion.
11-yard catch there. Across the middle, Pagan catches it, makes a man miss. Inside the 30, brought down at the 29. For a gain of 17 through the air.
And Paul Gunther is going to have to make some decisions when it comes to this RPO pass game because these defensive backs are playing too far off of man coverage, and all Bryson Barnes has to do is get the ball accurately to his receivers and let them make a play.
11-15 here in the third quarter. Handoff Davis up the middle, tripped up and falls down at the 28. He wanted more, but he only gets 1.
Miles Davis doesn't have enough tempo right there on that play to be able to keep his legs churning, and UNLV gets a good stop to force a 2nd and 9 here. And that's the situation they want to be in. That allows Paul Gunther to be able to switch up his looks, put pressure on the quarterback, and give the Utah State Aggies looks they haven't seen before, which can confuse this O-line and confuse their quarterback, Bryson Barnes.
Barnes in shotgun formation, 2nd and 9 at the UNLV 28. Barnes surveys the field with time across the middle. Through the hands of Garcia, incomplete pass. Powdrill in coverage there.
And it was a good job by Bryson Barnes on the play. He was able to sit in the pocket, go through his progressions, not force the ball out. Once he did find the receiver that he liked, the ball was just a little bit behind him. When you're making plays like that across the middle, they have to be on the money. They have to be calculated. Right there, that was a throw that got away from him and his receiver. And this UNLV defense, once again, 3rd down is where you get your money. This is a money down. A lot of defenders in the box here for the Rebels.
Utah State converted a 3rd down earlier this drive. 3rd and 9 at the UNLV 28. and a timeout taken by Coach Mendenhall to think this one over.
And it looks like Bronco Mendenhall wanted to talk with his offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern, up here in the booth to try to figure out what they're actually going to call here on a crucial big third down call for the Aggies, trying to separate themselves from the Rebels here.
Taking a look at one of the best receivers in the Mountain West, Pagan with 6 catches, 89 yards so far, looking to put up 100 yards on the day. Braden Pagan, the junior from UCLA, transferred this year, and he's making an impact once again for the Utah State Aggies. He might be the guy to go for here on 3rd and 9.
And you have to know that if you're Andrew Powdrill, the boundary corner, they're going to move this guy around in the formation. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, but he has a lot of versatility as a wide receiver. And they're going to find ways to give their playmakers the ball in big spots like this. Now, if you're Paul Gunther, you need to make sure that Bryson Burns is not comfortable back there in the pocket and does not pick up this 3rd down.
3rd and 9 at the UNLV 28. Barnes drops back, pressure, pocket breaks down, far sideline, caught by Boyd inside the 20 and steps out of bounds at the 10, 11-yard line. That's an 18-yard pickup there, catch and run for the Aggies.
And UNLV's defense did everything right on that play, and they still got broken. Right there, Boyd was able to get enough separation to give his quarterback a target.
And flags fly pre-snap here. Referees conferring, awaiting the penalty call. And it looks like the center was moving the ball, which is illegal, so they're going to bring him back 5 yards.
And right there, that's going to be a break for this UNLV defense, not just because they're going to be able to set themselves up and have this Utah State Aggies offense be behind the sticks, but it also allows them to substitute the guys they want for the right looks and give themselves a breather on defense to hopefully hold this Utah State team to 3 points here.
Illegal snap on Jimmy Liston, the sophomore from Purdue. So it's now 1st and 15 from the UNLV 15. Far sideline, one-on-one, overthrows Pagan. Incomplete pass, Welsh in coverage, all over him there.
LaTerrence Welsh hyping up the crowd. They want to get the crowd involved in this game. As a DB on the outside, he knows Pagan is that hot route. He's that guy that they're going to force feed the ball. Number 11 for a reason. A little bit of A.J. Brown-esque the way they've been using him today, trying to get him involved in this passing game. But LaTerrence Welsh did a great job of staying in his hip pocket and not allowing completion there for a touchdown.
So 2nd and goal at the 15. Twins right, shotgun formation. Davis in the backfield. Barnes steps up across the middle, connects, hit as he caught, brought down at the 3. Little altercation there between Pagan and Jaheim Joseph. It's now 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line.
And that's what that play action RPO game allows you to do. When you're able to have a quarterback see that if the linebackers are crashing down to stop the run, I can simply pull the ball away and throw it to my receivers on a quick slant, on a hot read. They're going to be able to take that dink and dunk play every single time. Now, big 3rd and 3, UNLV changing their personnel once again because Utah State was able to change theirs as well.
3rd and goal at the 3, 4 seconds on the play clock. Boyd, the motion man to the left, pressure in his face, rolls out right. Barnes brought down from behind for a loss. Osei Basse with the sack. Huge play there from the UNLV defense.
Osei Ebase with his biggest play so far here for the Rebels, being able to force Barnes to get down on the ground and take that sack, and Utah State will have to settle for 3. But Paul Gunther, Dan Mullen have to be extremely ecstatic about the play of this defense so far today, holding Utah State to not be successful in the red zone area.
Rinker 0 for 1 today from field goal range. This will be a 24-yard chip shot. That one's up and in. So the Aggies extend their lead to 6. 8:40 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Utah State leads 16-10 here inside Allegiant Stadium. You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sports Net. The first drive in the second half for the Aggies, 13 plays, 75 yards for a 24-yard field goal chip shot, and that's up and in for Tanner Rinker. They lead 16-10. The first drive for the UNLV Rebels, 3 and out. They're looking to turn that around and put up 7 on this drive with 8:40 remaining here in the third, Johnny.
And UNLV has been in this spot before, especially offensively. So far today, this UNLV defense has done a great job of bailing their offense out and being the backbone for a team that hasn't been able to have much success putting the ball in the end zone and getting in the scoring position. Now, if you're Anthony Calandria and Corey Dennis, you had to put together a game strip and a drive that's going to put you in the end zone and potentially give you the lead here in this football game. Your defense has done their job. You have to capitalize, get good, solid plays, execute, limit your penalties and turnovers, and you will allow yourself to get the lead back in this game.
UNLV with 208 total offensive yards, 126 of those through the air. Pretty even for the most part, only separating 44 yards between the passing and the running game. But they are absolutely hurting without their star running back, Jet Thomas, who was questionable coming into tonight's game against Utah State. And he has been in street clothes on the sideline. Hopes he's able to make a recovery and join us back next week against Hawaii for a back-to-back home games, the only of the season. So now 1st and 10 from their own 25. Direct snap Glover. Second time today that we've seen this, but a loss of 2 here for the Rebels.
And I don't like that play call on first down. I like that as a change of pace if you come into the game and you have a 1st and 10 and a fresh set of downs, but not in that situation when you're trying to establish the rhythm for your offense. Now you're forcing Anthony Calandria to have to press more in a situation where it's 2nd and 12, and when you're already playing from behind and not with much rhythm on the offensive side of the ball.
Miller and Olival able to break that up. Calandria, quick flat pass here to Glover. He's only able to pick up 2 or 3. 5 or 6. And it's now going to be 3rd and 7 at their own 28.
And this is a big play call here in this game. UNLV understands that this Utah State Aggies team was knocking on the door for a touchdown on that last drive. This offense is going to have to keep pace with Utah State if they want to come out successful in this game. They have to pick up this first down to keep the chains moving and allow themselves to have more leeway.
3rd and 7. Here we go. Calandria pressure running around, trying to buy some space. Throws the ball. Far sideline caught. That's Irvin near the 40-yard line. No penalty flags. First down, UNLV.
And sometimes you need to allow your stars to be stars. Anthony Calandria wheeling out of the pocket, finds D'Angelo Irvin on the sideline. He toe drags Swag for the first down and picks up the much-needed 3rd down conversion. That's exactly what the Rebels needed on that play. Sometimes you have to call number 10's number, and he's always, for the most part, going to call back.
12-yard catch there from Irvin. Sets up 1st and 10 at their own 40. Play action. Looking pressure. Far down the field, middle. Caught! What a play! Tayshawn Lyons far down the middle of the field. It's Troy O'Meara. That 0 and 8 look very similar with that scrunched jersey. But Troy O'Meara making a huge play on the ball. He was dead stop near the 20. Diving effort at the 13.
And Anthony Calandria showing he is not afraid of the moment. Playing in the Allegiant Stadium, backs against the wall, needing a first down. Not only does he pick up the 3rd down conversion, but on the very next play, he shows his gun-slinging ability and goes out guns blazing to push the ball downfield.
50-yard bomb sets up 1st and 10 at the 13. Keeper, Calandria left side, has some blockers. Hit. Stumbling down inside the 5, but there's a flag down near the 13-yard line. This one is probably going to come back for a hold.
But going back to that last play, Wyatt, Anthony Calandria being able to chuck the ball downfield, and he simply gave his big body receiver a chance. He allowed him with the defensive back looking in the backfield, not looking at the receiver. He allowed him to get a chance to go up and make a big time catch. And what did Troy O'Meara do? Make that for the Rebels.
Holding call on Jaden Bradley. That's going to bring it back 10 yards. And they're going to replay 1st and 10 to now 1st and 20 at the 23.
And right there, Wyatt, that's one of those plays when you're playing on the outside and they're trying to use the QB pin, pull, and counter to try to get Anthony Calandria to the outside. Jaden Bradley, sometimes you got to let the defender go and live to fight another day. I understand protecting your quarterback, but it's about angles right there. He had a bad angle on that block.
6 minutes remain here in the third quarter. UNLV trails by 6, 1st and 20. Outside Irvin, caught at the 19 for a gain of 4.
And I like that simple read from Anthony Calandria. Take what the defense gives you. It's first down. You have a fresh set of downs. Yes, you got that penalty, but you're going to take what the defense gives you and allow yourself to get 2 more downs to get in a manageable position. Right there, he's not forcing the ball, putting it in harm's way. He's doing exactly what you want to see from the quarterback position.
Now 2nd and 16. Ball at the Utah State 19. 5:30 remaining here in the third. Irvin, the motion man to the right side. Shotgun formation. Calandria keeps it. Throws. Almost intercepted. It was in the hands of Larson. Unable to keep it. And that would have been a momentous play there by Ike if he would have caught it.
And Ike Larson, that play, tried to be like Ed Reed. He was playing like a free safety. He's supposed to play in the back end. And that whole play is because Anthony Calandria did not set up the safety with his eyes. He stared down Jaden Bradley the entire time on the play action pass. And Ike Larson, that's the reason he's on defense. If he had better hands, he would have been taking that one back for potentially a pick 6.
Calandria, a quick screen here for Glover. Cuts back inside, has some blockers. Falling down near the 10. That's a gain of 9. And he'll bring up 4th down. Let's see what Mullen does. Is he going to be aggressive here with Corey Dennis, or are they going to bring out the kicking unit? And it looks like this offense will stay out there on the field.
And you know, Dan Mullen, again, he's not afraid to let his guns blaze. We've seen what they were able to do in that 3rd down conversion and also in the first half on the 4th down conversion. But UNLV needs to be able to pick this one up and stay and know where the sticks are. You need to pick up 6 yards to get the first.
1 of 2 here converting on 4th down. Irvin, the motion man. Calandria, shotgun formation. Looking, has time, across the middle. Caught! But his foot is out of bounds. Day Reynolds had the ball in his hands, but unable to get his foot down. And a flag has been thrown against the defense of Utah State. But that's going to be a flag after the play. Look at the replay, Johnny. Do you think he had his foot down and possession?
I think he had that right foot down, and you can see him taking a picture of the football, high-pointing it, and getting that one down. I think that one's going to get reviewed, and Day Reynolds is going to have his catch of the year to tie this football game up if the referees deem so.
Referee making a call on the field is Brad Carroll. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Utah State. Ball's going to be placed at the 9. And we're going to step aside here from Allegiant Stadium. Boos echo here from the Death Star. 16-10. 4:32 remains here in the third quarter on Rebel Sports Net. Cheers here inside Allegiant Stadium after further review. Day Reynolds was in for the 9-yard receiving touchdown. And so UNLV has tied this ball game up at 16.
And sometimes the fix is in, but right now, Day Reynolds' foot was inbounds. He was able to secure that catch, and it is now a tie game here at Allegiant Stadium on a big 4th and 6 gutsy play call. Dan Mullen once again believing in his team, believing in his guys that have led them to a 7-2 record through 9 games, and UNLV able to tie this game up and looking to take a 1-point lead here on this kick.
A gutsy gamble on 4th down ends up paying out for Vegas once again. 4:32 remains here in the third quarter, awaiting the PAT from the leg of Ramon Viella, which should give the go-ahead lead for the first time tonight for the Rebels.
And you have to love that from the Rebels, being able to show the fight, to come down the length of the field, go and have a good, successful drive and end up in the end zone. That's exactly what they needed to give them life here in this third quarter.
Awaiting the snap from McElwam. And Connor Melzer, the holder. Snap good, holds good, kick is up, and it's up the uprights, and that's good. So the Rebels lead for the first time tonight since the first quarter when they led by 3. UNLV leads 17-16. 4:32 remains here in the third quarter.
And right here, Wyatt, I don't know about you, but growing up, we used to have the Swami score. You could not expect this to be a 16-17 game, knowing how high-powered these offenses have been coming into this game. But they're doing a lot of the similar things on both ends of the football, and it starts with the quarterback play. We have Bryson Barnes, 15 for 26, 231 yards, 1 touchdown on the day. Anthony Calandra, 18 for 32, 213 yards, and 1 touchdown. Both of these guys have been trying to be efficient with their legs and be efficient with their arms, and they have done a great job of putting on a show today at Allegiant Stadium for both of their coaching staffs to put them in a situation where they could succeed and win this football game.
And that was Reynolds' 4th touchdown catch of the year. And a reminder, he was a former Florida player reuniting under head coach Dan Mullen back in their days at Florida. And the connection there from AC, Ant-Man, to Reynolds is good. UNLV leads 17-16. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in this game. Some missed points, missed opportunities from Utah State and UNLV. A lot of those are going to come down the stretch here. UNLV leads by 1. And a fair catch here for the Aggies by Wyatt. So they'll start off their offensive drive at the 25.
And like you said, Wyatt, going back to it like we touched on earlier, points are at a premium no matter what level of football you are at. When you have opportunities to score points in football games, when you do not, those plays come back to haunt you in the football game. And if you are Utah State, they have missed a point after attempt, and they've also missed a field goal in this game. Those plays are going to come back to bite them, but they're going to have to rally, play their best football here with 4 minutes remaining and the entire 4th left in this game.
295 total offensive yards for the Aggies, and they begin another drive here. 1st and 10 at their own 25, 4:32 remains, and sacked behind the line of scrimmage, Andrew Powdrell off the right edge.
And that's what you love to see. Andrew Powdrell has the freedom from Paul Gunther that if he is on that short side of the field, he is going to come after the quarterback. The cornerback on the outside is able to get pressure on the quarterback, sack him for a loss on the QB design run, and UNLV's defense right now is lively. They need to keep the pressure up, know that they are going to take shots here on the outside.
2nd and 11 here, shotgun formation. Boyd, the motion man to the right side. Now back to the left. Little Tyreek action motion. To the flat. Davis caught near sideline, hit low and falls down near the 31. Powdrell again, this time making the hit down low on Davis, who hit the air from his hit.
Andrew Powdrell, again, he's playing in that cover 2 zone in that flat route, but once he sees the ball come out, he chops wood and carries water. He gets right after the running back and is able to get him down on the ground. You love to see it. Now, UNLV, 3rd and 4. You want to get off the field and get this offense the football back in this position. I know for a fact Paul Gunther is going to go man-to-man and send pressure after Bryson Barnes in this situation.
Barnes, shotgun formation. At the first down marker, caught by Boyd, and it looks like the referee is going to give him the spot at the 35, 36-yard line. and that's enough to move the chains on a crucial 3rd and 4.
And a very friendly spot right there by the referee giving the first down. It looked like he was behind the sticks on that play, and it almost bobbled it as well.
Quick to the line of play. On 1st down, across the middle, incomplete pass to Boyd Barnes. Trying not to have that play replayed on that 3rd down. Incomplete pass across the middle, sets up 2nd and long.
And yup, Utah State went right to their hurry-up offense, right to their RPO game, and Amaris Brown said, none of that. Matumbo Wag, he's being able to play beautiful coverage on that slant route from the nickelback position and doing exactly what you want to see from the star of the defense.
2:47 remains here in the 3rd quarter. UNLV leads 17-16, 2nd and 10 for the Aggies at their own 35. 2 backs in the backfield. Handoff Davis, left side, has a lane, and is brought down near the 43. Ball's loose, and we have a pile on the field. Awaiting to see who has it. Referees blowing the play dead. We'll see who has the ball at the bottom of the pile. Referees conferring. The line judge putting the ball at the 46-yard line. And they're still talking, but it looks to be Utah State ball. And after confirmation from Brad Carroll, the referee on the field, fumbled by Utah State, but recovered by the Aggies, and it will remain Utah State ball.
And it looks like the fumble call would have got called back anyway. It looked like Miles Davis already had his elbow down, his forearm down on the ground before that ball came out. Still, 1st down or 3rd down here for the Aggies in this situation.
So they move the ball back where his forearm hit the ground at the 44, setting up a 3rd and 1 here for Utah State's offense. 2:36 to go and ticking. Shotgun formation, Boyd, the motion man. And a whistle blows for a timeout by Utah State. Their 2nd timeout of the half in the 3rd quarter. So we're going to step aside. 17-16, 2:32 remains here in the 3rd quarter here on Rebel Sports Net. Before this 3rd and 1 here at Allegiant Stadium, Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves, we're going to take a look ahead at the upcoming schedule for the UNLV Rebels next week at home for the back-to-back home games. They welcome in Hawaii for the 9th Island Bowl, the Big Pineapple. Hopefully they can get that one there. It's going to be a good game, close matchup between those two. And then finally on the road, Thanksgiving week for the holidays, Thanksgiving couple days after, on the road for the Fremont Cannon against UNR. And with that being said, before the holidays and the whole Buddy the Elf and all the Grinch stuff comes about in December, we will have a bowl game for the Rebels for their third time being eligible in the third straight season. Huge 3rd and 2 here for the Aggies on the offensive side. Under center, Barnes quickly. Excuse me, that's Garcia. And another timeout by Utah State. They just took one right before. They're not allowed to do that. That should be a penalty. So the line judge said they took a timeout. The referee clarifies it and says they didn't. How does that make sense?
A lot of mishaps today on both sides when it comes to the refereeing. There needs to be more communication on what these calls actually are in a big pivotal point in this game.
What is going on? We have seen the line judge call a timeout for Utah State. They say they didn't do it. A substitution comes in for Utah State. UNLV is allowed to get a substitution in, and a mess. Multiple Rebels on the field. Too many. Incomplete pass on 3rd down. A flag on the near sideline at UNLV territory at the 39.
Absolute conundrum and mayhem here. You have UNLV with too many men on the field anyway when they were trying to sub.
And a penalty on UNLV's defense, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me because they should be allowed to get that substitution in because Utah State threw in a receiver. As we look at the replay, a receiver ran in, so then the UNLV Rebels D lineman came in for a substitution. They were offsides as they were coming in. A lot of chaos on our end trying to clear it up for you at home. But after all that has been said, it is 1st and 10, ball at the own 48 for Utah State. And so Barnes will start here. Sack from behind. Order has been restored. Chief Borders says ball don't lie. Lost down there on 1st down.
You're exactly right, Wyatt. Chief Borders coming off the edge like a blaze, and the Chief is able to get into the backfield and give Bryson Barnes down on the ground, and he didn't see him looking. When you're coming from that defensive end position, you was coming from the blind side spot. He came off the edge with a clean speed rush, got right to the quarterback, and did not have roughing the passer. That's textbook. That's exactly how you do it, getting after the quarterback.
So a minute 50 to go here and ticking. 2nd and 18 with 5 on the play clock for the Aggies. Boyd, the motion man to the right side, throws it to the flat. In the hands of Boyd, he drops it at the 40. And it's going to set up a 3rd and long here for Utah State.
And again, once again, it looks like ball does not lie for this UNLV defense. That is 2 plays back-to-back now from Utah State where they have played rattled. Boyd made the touchdown catch earlier against Amarish Brown. Right there, he bobbles that screen pass, and it's 3rd and 18. If you're the UNLV defense, know where the sticks are. You do not need any illegal penalties on this play, and you have to rally to the football and make a tackle.
The Aggies have been 7 for 11 on 3rd down. Here we go, 3rd and 18. Pressure, has to use his legs near the line of scrimmage. Throws far sideline. Incomplete pass intended for Boyd. And it's going to be 4th down for Utah State. Bring out the punting unit.
Beautiful blanket coverage in the backfield by the UNLV back end, making sure that Bryson didn't have any other receivers that he could get the ball to. He did an amazing job of making sure that there was no other safety valves. They made him step up in the pocket because of the pressure, only rushing 3 on that play. And UNLV, D'Angelo Irvin, will be getting the ball back on the punt unit.
Rinko out on the field for the Aggies to punt. Deep back for the Rebels is Irvin. He punts that from the 29. Irvin back at the 13. He's going to return this and tackle down at the 16. It looks like the ball might have been jarred loose. A little pile, a scuffle on the ground, fighting for the ball. We're waiting for an indication here. It looks like Irvin has the ball in his hands. And with that, it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Rebels at their own 16. Out of the pile is an injured Aggie, so we're going to step aside here for a quick injury timeout. 17-16 here from Allegiant Stadium. off the punt. The injured Aggie was Brevin Hamblin, their star on defense. He was fortunately able to get up. He was shaken up on the play. Hopefully he'll be able to return and stay healthy for the rest of this game, if not the rest of the season. Hate to see him down and injured. Now the Rebel offense will come onto the field with a minute 22 here in the third quarter. They lead by 17-16 here inside Allegiant Stadium. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves here on the call on Rebel Sports Net. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking with us here. It's now 1st and 10 at their own 16, partner.
And the Rebels have an amazing opportunity to kind of put a nail in the coffin on this game. Yes, they have a fourth quarter, but it's only a minute 22 left in this third, and Utah State only has one timeout left in this football game. They have a lot of momentum going into this one, the Rebels do.
Lee with the handoff, bounces outside, and met at the 18, brought back. But his forward progress will stop at the 18 for a gain of 2.
And I love the thought process there by Corey Dennis to start this drive with a run. You want to try to get out of this third quarter, get into the fourth quarter, and understand that this drive, yes, it's going to be led by Anthony Calandria and what he can do with his arm. But if you can still wear down this defensive line and use that running game as a viable part of this offense, it's going to help them a ton in the fourth quarter.
Calandria 213 yards through the air. Roll out left here. Far sideline at the 38. Caught. First down UNLV. Jaden Bradley with the catch.
Once again, pitch and catch for Anthony Calandria with these design quarterback bootlegs. He does a great job as a right-handed quarterback when he's running to his left of squaring his shoulders and his hips up to his target and hitting Anthony Calandria on another 15-yard comeback route.
He now has 56 yards on the day. Jaden Bradley with his 7th catch there. 30 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 at their own 37. Calandria moving around in the pocket as it breaks down. Going to use his legs, trying to pick up the first down, hit by a number of Aggies. And they're going to mark him just short of the first down, officially at the 46, 2nd and 1.
The kid is such a dual threat. He's such a gamer, and he's not afraid of contact. You see a lot of quarterbacks nowadays, they're getting taught you have to slide. Would I have liked to see him slide in that situation? Most definitely, Wyatt. But when your forward momentum is moving that way, sometimes the best that you can do is dive to the ground. He does that, but he extends so many plays with his legs to send this Rebel team into the fourth quarter.
9-yard carry, 45 minutes down, 15 to go here in this Mountain West Inter-Conference play. UNLV leads 17-16 heading into the fourth quarter. From Allegiant Stadium, you're listening to Rebel Sports Net. The start of the fourth quarter here in the Las Vegas desert inside Allegiant Stadium. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves here on the call. Through 3 quarters of play, Utah State Aggies have over 305 yards of total offense. Meanwhile, the Rebels on the offensive end, 323 total yards of offense. Score 17-16 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And the Rebels are looking to tack on more here on this drive.
And the Rebels here, 1-point lead in this football game. Stadium is buzzing. 4s are up for everyone in the crowd. And you have to believe that the momentum is on UNLV's side, especially after that 9-yard run and scramble by Anthony Calandria. But everything here needs to be about execution and playing the best 15 minutes for UNLV.
Sets up 2nd and 1, direct snap. Kevon Lee up the middle, fighting for that extra yard. He gets it. Brought down near the 48-yard line, and that's a first down for UNLV to start the fourth quarter.
And I like that play design for Corey Dennis. The Chiefs used to do a lot of this same type of scenarios with Travis Kelce, where he would take the direct snap from the center and be able to just simply use that big body to move the chains and get the Chiefs where they wanted to get for a first down.
14:30 here in the fourth quarter. UNLV leads 17-16. 1st and 10 at their own 48. Shotgun formation. Calandria, hand off to the left side, has some running room, hit hard at the 40. Caden McGee with a good run, but is leveled there and oohs and ahs throughout the crowd.
And oohs and ahs is almost an underappreciation of what just happened to Caden McGee on that play. He absolutely got somersaulted by D'Angelo Mays coming down from that cornerback position to make a hard hit on the play. I'd love to see him get back up. But that's the second time now we've seen Caden McGee come into the game and take those jet sweeps for an explosive play for the UNLV offense.
A 12-yard gain sets it up inside Utah State territory at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10, 5 on the play clock. Calandria, shotgun formation, barely gets the snap off. With time, looking, surveys the field just across the middle, caught near sideline, lowers his shoulder, and brought down inside the 20. Matt Burns for the first down.
And this is the name we haven't heard much of so far this season on offense for UNLV. But Matt Burns was able to take that tight end delay. He was acting like he was going to block. He actually did block and was able to come off that block as an eligible receiver, be the safety valve for Anthony Calandria. Anthony Calandria hits him and is able to pick up easy yards on that play. Beautiful execution by the Rebels.
And that's Burns' first catch of the season. He transferred last year from Houston. Far sideline, caught on first down, brought down near the 10-yard line is Jaden Bradley, setting up 2nd and 4.
And Jaden Bradley, once again, you have Anthony Calandria wheeling outside of the pocket, bootlegging to his right to get the ball to Bradley, his #1 receiver on the outside on the easy 5-yard hitch route to be able to pick up 6 yards. And if Jaden Bradley didn't get shooting tackle there, he might have been in the end zone for the Rebels.
After that 24-yard pass to Burns, 2nd and 4 here for a loss. Tackle by Avenger. Reynolds trying to get something, but unable to. A loss of 1 there. It's now 3rd and 5. Ball at the Aggie 11.
And I don't like that play call from Corey Dennis because with that down and distance and where the ball was aligned on the football field, you had way more field side if you would have called that play to the left side of the field rather than the right. Because you were on the right side and you didn't correctly block the outside corner, they were able to blow that screen up and make it a negative play. Big 3rd down here for the Rebels.
Shotgun formation, wide spread. Lead the motion man to the flat. Keeper Calandria tries to make a man miss. This time unable to do so, and tackled down near the line of scrimmage is Chris Joe.
Chris Joe, the inside linebacker, making sure that Anthony Calandria did not juke him out of his shoes. It was a designed QB run from the get-go. Anthony Calandria tries to get outside the pocket, and Joe says, nope, I'm having none of that, forcing UNLV to send out the kicking unit here.
Joe, the true freshman from Brentwood, California, stands 6'3", 215 pounds. And now the leg of Ramon Viella for the 31-yarder to extend the lead to 4. Hold good, snap good, kick, it's good. UNLV leads 20-16 here in the fourth quarter. 10:59 remains from Allegiant Stadium You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sports Net. Ten plays, 71 yards, sets up a 31-yard field goal for Ramon Viella to extend the lead to 4, 20-16. 10:59 remains here inside Allegiant Stadium in the fourth quarter here on Rebel Sports Net. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves here on the call. An exciting one, low-scoring affair, unlike what we've seen for the Rebels so far throughout this entire season. But nonetheless, they're ahead and in command right now as the defense will head out onto the field momentarily.
It's been a very ugly game. Up until that drive, we've seen both teams kind of sputter a little bit in terms of trying to get in scoring position and make the most of their plays. But UNLV, unfortunately, on that drive had to settle for 3, but they at least were able to get points on the board to extend that 1-point lead to 4. And now if you're Utah State, you're going to have to deal with the pressure that you've had so far against this UNLV defense. They've been able to get after quarterback Bryson Barnes effectively so far today. They've been able to have 6 sacks so far on the day today. If UNLV wants to be successful, they're going to have to continue to rush the passer and make sure he's uncomfortable. And Utah State needs to protect their quarterback to allow him to go through his reads and progressions and push the ball downfield.
Bryson Barnes has been able to connect with his star receiver, Braden Pagan. 7 catches, 102 yards between the two of them. And the handoff to Davis here on the right side, brought down at the 31 for a gain of 6. But the passing game has been lively for these two, and it has been that way all season long. Although it hasn't been a high-scoring affair, these two have been working, and they've been cooking.
And that's been his money guy. That's been the guy he's been able to count on today. That was the best rush that we've seen so far today by Utah State, with Miles Davis being able to take that run for 6 yards.
He now has 39 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. And he goes back to the well again, right side, flag in the backfield. He picks up the first down, trucking Jaheim Joseph out of bounds near midfield. But I have a feeling this one's coming back.
And it's going to be holding once again on the outside. You had a receiver getting too handsy and not allowing it's going to be a lineman in this case, when they were trying to pull, holding on to the defensive lineman and not allowing him to get off that block.
And it's going to be a holding call, number 62, Junior Sia, the sophomore from Harriman, Utah. And now it's going to set up 2nd and 14 from their own 21-yard line.
And plays like that, they kill the momentum that Utah State had coming into this drive. You have a great play on first down, and now it's 2nd and 14.
10:15 to go and ticking. UNLV leads 20-16. Barnes rolls out left, connects to Garcia, and he's walking out of bounds near the 29-yard line for a gain of about 8.
And Garcia, another one-hand catch right there from Garcia on that play. But UNLV did a great job of bending but not breaking. They were able to play off-man coverage, rally to the football, get our Garcia out of bounds. 3rd and 8, big-time money down for Utah State if they want to stay with this high-powered UNLV offense.
Now taking a look at 3rd down conversions, 7 of 12 on the night for the Aggies. 3rd and 8 from their own 27, pressure. Pope falls down, rolling out right. Barnes unable to connect to Garcia, way too high above his head, and it's going to be 4th down.
And Paul Gunther's efficient, aggressive pressure pays off once again for the Rebels. They have Jake Pope come down from his free safety position to go into the box. He is one trip away from sacking Bryson Barnes on the play, but he does just enough to force Barnes to flush out the pocket, throw the ball under the rest. The ball goes out of bounds, 4th and 8 for the Rebels, and they're able to get the ball back to Ant-Man in this offense once again.
This defense, which has been highly scrutinized all season long, has held the number 3 scoring offense in the Mountain West to just 16 points with 9:25 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Scores 20-16, 9:23 officially remains here in this ball game from Allegiant Stadium. You're listening to Rebel Sports Net. Twenty to 16, 9:23 remains here inside Allegiant Stadium. You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sports Net. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves. This UNLV offense coming out once again, and the momentum is on their side. Over 360 yards of total offense, and they're looking to put up 7 here on this drive to take over and lead by a 2-score game for the first time tonight.
And Corey Dennis, Anthony Calandria, Dan Mullen, they have an opportunity to have an Undertaker-esque tombstone, coffin, ender, game-ender drive right here for the Rebels. Let's see if they can punch it in for 6 on this drive.
And they're getting ready to say, I'm your Huckleberry, 1st and 10 at their own 27. Handoff, Glover thrown down with authority. Stamping it there is William Holmes on the tackle.
William Holmes from Detroit, Michigan, showing that hard-nosed 8-mile in-the-gap football. He did a great job of meeting Jalen Glover in the hole, not hesitating as an outside linebacker, coming downhill ready to hit. Now UNLV is going to be forced into a pass situation on 2nd and 12.
Loss of 2 there. Ball at their own 25. Calandria trips right, rolls out, sacked for another loss there of 7. John Miller is all over Calandria on 2nd and long, now setting up a 3rd and forever.
And the Aggies come out ready to play on this drive on the defensive end. They show Paul Gunther that, hey, we have our defensive coordinator here, and he's going to make sure, Nick Howell is going to make sure that these guys are coming to the football, and they're going to give this Utah State Aggies the football back, setting up a big 3rd and 18. Name of the game here for the Rebels. Take what the defense gives you. Unfortunately, you set yourself up behind the sticks, but you don't need to make a bad situation worse. You need to play smart football. Do not force the ball into harm's way here if you're Anthony Calandria.
And a timeout there by Dan Mullen, talking to the line judge with great anger. We're going to step aside here. Quick break. Don't go anywhere. 2016 with 8:08 remaining here in the 4th. Thanks for sticking with us here on Rebels Sports Net here inside Allegiant Stadium. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves. 20-16, the Rebels lead with 8:08 remaining. It is 3rd and forever. The Rebels are backed up in Pahrump. Calandria threw an interception earlier, having to force a play. Looking to not make matters worse. Has to use his legs. Past the line of scrimmage, throws the ball, connects across the middle to Glover. No flag on the play. And there is one at the 20-yard line. Huge chunk play there for the Rebels, but it's not going to matter because it's not enough for the line of gain, and it's going to be 4th down plus a penalty.
Right here for the Rebels, it's going to be very interesting to see how aggressive they are going to be on their own side of the football field, depending on what the down and distance is going to look like for them.
Referees on the field conferring. Brad Carroll and crew calls an illegal forward pass, as we saw there, and I mentioned a moment ago. It'll be a loss of down, and it's going to be 4th down, so bring on Cam Brown in the punting unit. The freshman from Coolangatta, Australia, to punt this one away and give the Aggie offense the ball back.
And it's funny, here at UNLV, we have so many Aussie to UNLV pipeline. A lot of students that are a part of the UNLV journalism program come from Australia in recent history. But for the Rebels right there, Anthony Calandria got caught doing a little bit too much, throwing behind the line, ahead of the line of scrimmage. And the UNLV defense is going to have to come out and play smart, sharp football once again for this team.
Ball's placed at the 15. Brown with the punt from the 5. Launches that one to the Aggie 37, where Kahanu Davis returns it and is drilled at the 38 by Elksness. And that's where the Utah State offense will start on the other side here from Allegiant Stadium. As the Aggie offense comes out onto the field and start at their own 38, let's take a look ahead at their upcoming schedule for the final 2 games of the regular season. They go on the road next week on the 22nd to Fresno State and then come back home for their final game of the season against Boise State on the 28th. Both teams atop of the Mountain West, so a very difficult schedule for these last 3 games. On the road to UNLV, on the road at Fresno State, and then back home against Boise State. They are currently 5-4 with a 3-2 record in conference. And their offense will start here, 1st and 10 at their own 38. They trail by 4, 7:43 remains. Keeper here, Garcia off the right side, trying to find the angle, and steps out of bounds at the 42 for a gain of about 4.
I like the contain there from UNLV. They try to get Garcia on the QB keeper on the read option to get him some yards, start their drive off with something positive. They only got 4 yards out of that play, and that was due to the contain by Marcel McDuffie playing the angles game, playing the edges from that linebacker position. But now this is where UNLV is going to have to substitute, get their subs in, and put pressure on the quarterback and force a 3rd and long. Hopefully you get Bryson Barnes down in the backfield.
9 seconds on the play clock, 7:10 to go here in the 4th. Barnes across the middle, drop pass by Boyd, his 2nd drop of the night, and a crucial one there. Pressure off the edge from Marcel McDuffie and company. It now sets up a 3rd and 6 at their own 42.
And what does Paul Gunther go to on a big money down, a 2nd and down? He goes straight back to his pressure. He forces Bryson Barnes to pull the ball out quickly, and Boyd is unable to get his head and his eyes and his hands around quick enough to corral that catch. Big 3rd down here.
They've been just 33% on 3rd down this season. They are 7 for 13 tonight. 7:05 here in the 4th. 3rd and 6 at their own 42. Keeper breaks a tackle inside UNLV territory. It's a fun race inside the 10, 5, touchdown Utah State. A 58-yard run, and Barnes calls his own number to regain the lead.
Bryson Barnes put the team on his absolute back on that play, showing his dual threat ability as a quarterback. He beats Adelaide on the sideline and is able to get up the field, and Andrew Powdrill, Marcel McDuffie are not quick enough to catch the quarterback. He keeps the keeper for 58 yards and runs it in for the touchdown, and Utah State answers and is looking to take a 3-point lead in this game at Allegiant Stadium.
Awaiting the PAT from Rinker. Snap good, hold good, kick is up, and it's through. Utah State leads by 3 with less than 7 minutes to go. We're going to step aside momentarily. Don't go anywhere. More action on the other side here on Rebel Sports Net. Three plays, 62 yards in just 47 seconds by the legs of Barnes. A house call, 58-yard touchdown, a season high. And the Aggies have a 3-point lead with 6:56 remaining here in Allegiant Stadium. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Grace here on the call. What a run there by Barnes, and regaining the lead for the first time and several quarters here. And the Aggies are in control so far here in the 4th quarter.
And we've seen Bryson Barnes today, 17 rushes for 74 yards and now a touchdown with his legs. The guy's been absolutely phenomenal in terms of this team of being a dual threat quarterback. And on 3rd and 6, when you have to have it most, not only do they not go through the air, but they use the legs of their quarterback to get the first down.
And the return by Glover, hit lopside up, flips in the air, loses the ball, and the Aggies recover. As the Aggies recover, they have an injured player on his back. We're going to step aside here for an injury timeout from Allegiant Stadium. 23-20, 6:48 remaining here on Rebel Sports Net. An awful sight here at Allegiant Stadium. Titan Saxton, the safety for Utah State, has been on the ground for the last 5 minutes. They brought out the stretcher and the cart, and the whole Aggie squad is surrounding him. It is deafening how silent it is in Allegiant Stadium. This game has been paused at 6:48 here in the fourth quarter. This medical staff is getting him on the stretcher as we currently speak. Hope he is able to recover. His family is all right. Prayers up for everyone involved. A round of applause here as the medical staff is getting him on the cart. Both sides showing their respect and prayers up for this young man. A scary sight at that. They have lifted Saxton up onto the cart, and echoes throughout the stadium of cheers as they will be able to get him off and carted safely. Hopefully this young man will be okay. 6:48 remaining here in the fourth quarter. You're listening to Rebel Sports Net. Titan Saxton just got carted off, was able to raise his right hand and give a fist to the crowd, letting them know that he is okay. Our prayers are with him there. And after further review on that play, it was a fumble by Jalen Glover, but his right forearm hit the ground, and so he is down by contact. UNLV offense will take over 23-20 after that awful sight. 6:48 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And you best believe, Johnny, this Aggie team is going to try to rally around him and get this win here on the road. Ball at their own 19. UNLV. Calandria rolls out, steps back, evades pressure, rolling to the right side now, fires, and throws it away out of harm's way.
And smart job by Anthony Calandria right there, trying to do the best that he could to make something happen on the play, but nothing was available. Not only did he allow himself to get set and throw the ball into a receiver's area so it wouldn't be called for intentional grounding, but he also just took care of the football, gave the Rebels another down to work with.
So now it brings us 2nd and 10 with 6:38 remain. Rebels trail by 3. Ball at their own 19. Calandria. Handoff up the middle. Lee cuts back inside after going to the right. Brought down at the 25 for a gain of 6, making it a 3rd and manageable here.
And I like that play call from Corey Dennis to go back to where if it isn't broke don't fix it. They go right back to Kevon Lee, allow him to take the inside run for a good 6-yard run, and now big 3rd and 4 call. It has to be your money call right here.
Empty formation, 3rd and 4 for the Rebels. Calandria by himself. Ball at the 25, 3rd and 4, 6:05 remain and ticking. Calandria drops back, looking across the middle, connects, 1st down for the Rebels. Brought down at the 39, that's Troy O'Meara with the 14-yard catch and run.
And a little bit of deja vu again. Troy O'Meara on a big 3rd down play. What does he do? He picks up the 1st down, and there's a reason he's number 0. There are 0 DBs in the country right now that can guard that man for UNLV.
1st and 10 at their own 39. Handoff to Lee up the middle and brought down at the 44 for a gain of 5.
And I like Corey Dennis mixing up his play calls here. He understands that he does not want to allow Utah State to have a good amount of time in this football game. And he also knows that they only have the 2-minute warning and 1 more timeout to stop the clock in this game. UNLV wants to play keep away with the football, and they're going to have to do so.
5 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. UNLV with 2 timeouts, Utah State with 1. 2nd and 5 here. Ball at their own 44. Calandria rolls out left to the flat. Lee catches it right around the 44. He might have gained a yard, but he at least made it to the line of scrimmage.
And again, once again, another big-time play on the outside by Isaiah Joe. He was able to get down to Kevon Lee, make sure that he didn't get any explosive play after the catch, and is now forcing UNLV into another big 3rd and 4 call here at Allegiant Stadium.
4:27 and counting here in the 4th quarter. UNLV trails by 3. It's 3rd and 4 at their own 45 after the gain of 1 to Lee. Calandria shotgun formation. Fakes the reverse, goes to the right side, breaks a tackle, breaks a second, inside Utah State territory, a face mask and a flag at the Aggie 46. So not only does he pick up the 1st down, tack on 15 after that.
And I love the play design by Corey Dennis being able to sub in. He goes in with his 2nd unit, the unit that features Caden McGee, who has on multiple occasions today used the jet sweep to his advantage and get big plays out of it. So what do? They use that defensive leverage against them, and they go with a quarterback keeper with Anthony Calandria, allow him to use his legs to get the 1st down and pick up the penalty on the face mask.
Flag is on number 24, William Holmes. So that sets up UNLV inside Aggie territory, 1st and 10 at the Utah State 29. 4 minutes remain here in the 4th quarter. UNLV trails by 3. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Calandria shotgun formation. O'Meara motions to the left side by himself. Calandria looking, fires far sideline. No good, intended for Bradley, and he's asking for a penalty flag, and he's not going to get it.
And the ref right there in that situation, he was going to let Jaden Bradley in the outside corner play hand fighting a little bit, knowing that both of them were jostling for the ball. You had Jaden Bradley running the slant and go. We called it a sluggo. And number 21 had hands all over him. Noah Flores, the 5'9" cornerback, had hands all over Jaden Bradley, and that should have been called for defensive holding. And that's going to be a play that the Rebels are going to want back. But you have to move on to the next one, be able to get sufficient yards here on 2nd and 10.
Pistol formation with 5 seconds on the play clock. Trips right. Play action. Calandria, pressure off the edge, has to roll out right. Fires too far, intended for Nick Elksness, and able to get rid of the ball. And there's a penalty flag from the far line judge. Could that be intentional grounding on Calandria, or is that holding on the defensive side? We will hear momentarily from Brad Carroll.
It looks like it might be potentially defensive holding on the far side. Anthony Calandria did have a receiver in the area. Unfortunately, the ball was unthrowable, or uncatchable where he threw it. But I did see a lot of coverage and a lot of handsiness in the backfield.
And a personal foul called on number 9, Tyrese Morris, the transfer from Lafayette. Personal foul, 15-yard penalty on the defense.
And
that's not going to fly.
And that's exactly. And that's just a sloppy, timely penalty that aids the Rebels in this point in the football game. If you are the Utah State Aggies, you have to understand you are playing with a 3-point lead in this game. UNLV, you just bailed them out in that situation. You were forcing them to go into a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and long situation. Now they have a fresh set of downs, and the clock continues to tick.
1st and 10 in the red zone. Ball at the Aggie 15. UNLV down by 3 with 3:38 remaining. Calandria drops back, far sideline in the end zone. No good. Intended for Bradley. In coverage was Flores.
They try to attack the 5'9" Flores once again, and he says, no, I'm going to continue to play blanket coverage on the outside. I'm going to play through the receiver's hands. And once again, it looks like it's another holding call that the referees allow Noah Flores to get away with. But if I'm Anthony Calandria and Corey Dennis, I don't want to get away from the running game. You are stopping the clock and allowing Utah State to still hold that 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning in their back pocket if you do only get 3 here in this situation.
Trips right, bunch formation on the right side. Calandria by himself. He's going to keep it running to the right side. Breaks the tackle, cuts back in, and tight ropes the sideline inside the 10. He steps out of bounds at the 9 for a gain of 6. Setting up a 3rd and manageable here for this UNLV offense.
And I love that. I love them going back to the running game because that is what has kept them in this game so far. They have been able to be effective. They have over 117 yards rushing today. They need to have that still be a part of this game, knowing that Utah State, if UNLV does happen to score, is going to be playing not only against the defense, but be playing against the clock as well. Big 3rd down here for the Rebels.
Clock continues to tick. 3 minutes remaining. Down by 3. 3rd and 4 at the 9. Calandria. Pressure. Brought down for a sack. The Aggie defense gets to him, and the kicking unit will come out for UNLV.
And UNLV will have to settle for 3 here in this scenario. The Aggies did a great job of bringing pressure from all angles of the football field, and most importantly, they made Anthony Calandria step up into the pocket with a QB spy still on him. Defensive coordinator Nick Howell has to love the effort from his team right there.
A 32-yard field goal for Viella. He's 2 of 3 for today. Snap good, hold good, kick. It's good, and it's tied at 23. 2:18 remains in this ball game, and the Aggies have control. They're going to get the ball back with 2 minutes and 18 seconds, 1 timeout, with an opportunity to win on the road in Las Vegas.
It's going to be a big spot for Bryson Barnes and this offense if they're able to move down the field with only 1 timeout in the 2-minute warning and at least get themselves in scoring position and field goal range to be able to put points on the board. But if you're Utah State, you have to be kicking yourself in the foot knowing that you have let some points slip away with your kicking unit in this football game. Those are some points that have led to this being a tie game. But if you're UNLV, you have to win on 1st and 2nd down on this next drive and potentially be able to give your offense the football back with 2 more timeouts left to be able to potentially get a field goal with Ramon Viella and put points up on the board and walk out of this 4th quarter with a win and a W for the Rebels.
A potential game-winning drive here for the Aggies, and they put the game in the hands of their graduate student, Bryson Barnes, who has 2 total touchdowns on the day, 1 rushing, 1 passing, 249 yards through the air, and 74 on the ground. One of those touchdowns with a 58-yard house call using his legs. And once again, the veteran with experience will try to win this game on the road against UNLV. Tie ball game, 23 apiece. 1 timeout for the Aggies, and the kickoff from Costa to White. Catches it at the 6, but he's going to let this one be a fair catch, so the offense will start at their own 25.
And UNLV is going to make sure they're putting pressure on Bryson Barnes and make sure that he's not comfortable back there in the pocket. They have to understand that, yes, there's 2 minutes and 18 seconds, but Utah State is still going to be able to use the QB run game as a part of this offense. Bryson Barnes with over 315 total yards of offense for his team has absolutely put them on his back today, and they will start in the empty formation to help him see what kind of coverage he has from the UNLV defense.
This will be the first time the Aggies win on the road this season if they're able to put together a drive and a stop. Barnes, right side, pressure in his face. Hit as he throws. Incomplete pass. Powdrell able to lay down the pow on him.
And right there, Bryson Barnes got away with a big call. Marcel McDuffie was raining down on him, ready to make a tackle. And because he had his leading receiver, or Anthony Garcia in this matter, in the vicinity, it was not called for intentional grounding, or that would have been a big loss for Utah State.
Barnes has done a great job not turning the ball over this season. Only 3 interceptions so far through 9 games. Connects with Pagan there at the 31-yard line for a gain of about 6.
Right here, this is the money down. This is what games are win and lost from. Right here, 3rd and 3 for the Rebels. And then we're going to go into the 2-minute warning with the game potentially on the line here for Utah State.
2-minute timeout, a big drive and a big 3rd down on the other side. Not going to want to miss it here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome inside Allegiant Stadium. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Wyatt Touchet and Johnnie Graves tied ball game at 23, fresh off the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes remain. A crucial 3rd and 3 for the Utah State Aggies on their own 32. This season, they only completed 33% conversion rate on 3rd down. Tonight, they are 8 of 14, so they've been able to convert at a high clip, and they're looking to do so on this potential game-winning drive, Johnny.
And the UNLV defense is going to have to conjure up a lot of the same energy they had against Colorado State. They held them to 1 of 13 on 3rd down last week. If UNLV wants to walk out of Allegiant Stadium with a win today, they're going to have to get a stop on 3rd down and force Utah State's hand and force them to punt the football and give it back to the Ant-Man on offense. But it starts here, big-time money down. This is where football dreams are made or broken.
3rd and 3, 2 minutes remaining. The Aggies have 1 timeout. The Rebels with 2. 3rd and 3, shotgun formation. Pagan in motion to the left side. Keeper. Barnes picks up the 1st down and is tackled at the 38. Going to move the chains here, using his legs once again.
An offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern, goes right back to his bread and butter, his money play. He gives the ball to his leader, his commander-in-chief, Bryson Barnes, and he takes it right up the gut for the QB power for a 1st down.
1:43 remains here in the 4th. Barnes in shotgun formation, play action. Sits back, pressure in his face, evades, using his legs once again, and tackled near the 45 by Marcel McDuffie.
And Lucas Conti is going to be wanting that play back in bunches. That was almost a sack in the backfield for the nose tackle of UNLV. He did a great job of having an initial effort with the offensive guard to be able to get to the quarterback, but unfortunately, he was not long enough to get after Bryson, and they will have to live with 2nd and 3 here for the Rebels.
2nd and 3 at their own 45. 1:05 remains. Hand off to Davis to the left side. Picks up the first down inside UNLV territory. Brought down at the 48 for a gain of 8.
Once again, a first down here for Utah State. But I love the aggressiveness from Jake Pope coming from that safety position, coming down with his hard hat on, ready to hit. But UNLV's defense is going to have to make a stand here if they want to win this football game.
Utah State draining this clock out. 45 seconds remain. 17 on the play clock. Near midfield, 1st and 10. Barnes evades pressure, using his legs, has a plenty room to run, and slides at the 25. Marked at the 27. 1st and 10 for the Aggies, and they're in great shape to kick a game-winning field goal potentially here in Las Vegas.
And Bryson Barnes once again calling his own number, seeing that UNLV was going man-to-man coverage across the board. No QB spy. I'm going to take it every single time.
Whistles fly and blow before the snap. And it looks to be a timeout by UNLV. And so time will stop with 22 seconds. Timeout by the Rebels. That 21-yard run sets up the Aggies at their own 27. And Barnes has 108 yards leading the way for both sides through the run game.
And right here, Bryson Barnes has been absolutely phenomenal for Utah State, not only passing the ball for over 250 yards and a touchdown, but 20 runs for 108 yards. The dude has been absolutely phenomenal with his legs today and being able to move the chains when everything else outside the pocket has broken down. He has been able to step up for this team and lead them into the promised land, potentially to walk out of Allegiant Stadium with a W and to be 4-2 in conference play.
22 seconds remain. Tied ball game at 23. Tanner Rinker, the kicker for the Aggies, 1 for 2 of the day. Made a 24-yarder, but the first one, the 41-yarder, he missed, and he also missed a PAT. He will be brought out here soon. Barnes keeps it up the left side and is stopped at the 26. Clock will continue to tick here, and it will tick down to around 3 or 4 seconds when head coach Bronco Mendenhall takes the final timeout, and he will do so around 2 or 3 seconds remaining. Bring on the kicking unit. Tied at 23, 2 seconds remain. Ball spotted at the 26-yard line. So it'll be around a 42, 43-yard field goal for Tanner Rinker.
We've seen Tanner Rinker today. He's already missed 1 point after attempt, and he's also missed 1 field goal. That has to be sitting in the back of a kicker's mind. We've seen UNLV get away with some kicks earlier this season when they played Air Force. They're going to have to do so today and hope that Rinker either gets this kick blocked, has any muffed handles like we seen last week against Colorado State, or Rinker is going to have to put this one through the uprights, and Utah State is going to walk out of this one with a win against the Rebels.
Rinker, the transfer junior from Garden City Community College. His season long is 49. This will be a 44-yard attempt for the win or for OT. Snap good, hold good, kick is up. Has the distance, no good. He misses it left, and we're going to overtime here in Allegiant Stadium. The best show in town, the entertainment capital of the world, and we got more here on the other side.
And all the Rebel fans in attendance are getting more free football here at one of the best stadiums in all of the country. The Rebel fans are lively to be giving another chance to go in the overtime against Utah State. And the absolute clinic, the absolute show that we have seen so far today is not over with. We have more football ahead for you guys. The overtime period is here, and UNLV gets another chance at redemption against the Utah State Aggies.
A missed field goal by Rinker from 44 yards out, no good, wide left. And at the end of regulation, it's tied at 23. Don't go anywhere. More overtime action here on Rebel Sports Net. The captains met on the field, and Bryson Barnes correctly guessed right. He guessed correct. And so they won the toss. They will defer. And so UNLV will get the ball first at their own 25, or on Utah State's 25-yard line, for this OT play. Each side will get a shot at it. So the Rebel offense will come out to the field first.
And right here for the Rebels, everything has to be about execution. They're getting the ball first in this overtime period, but they have to be able to play smart football and understand that you are in the red zone. They need to be more efficient in the red zone today. They haven't been able to do so. If UNLV wants to be consistent, they got to be able to put the ball in the end zone.
1st and 10 at the 25. Calandria looking towards the seam, near sideline, and overthrows Day Reynolds, so it'll be 2nd down from the 25.
And right here, it's not like the NFL where you have to go the length of the field. Both of these teams are going to start at the 25-yard line. And right there, Anthony Calandria went to try to take a shot to Day Reynolds on the slot fade in the end zone. Unfortunately, there was great coverage on the outside. The ball gets airmailed, 2nd and 10 for the Rebels.
Bunch right formation. Calandria in shotgun with Lee in the backfield. Handoff Lee to the left side. Tries to break a tackle and is stopped at the 21 for a gain of 4.
And Kevon Lee is going to be upset on that play because Day Reynolds let him down in that situation. He had a cornerback on the outside that he needed to make a tackle on, number 15, D'Angelo Mays, and he did not make a sure-handed block on that player. And unfortunately, Kevon Lee had to get down. Big 3rd and 6 call here for the Rebels.
3rd and 6, tied at 23. It's overtime, and UNLV has the ball first. Ball at the 21. Calandria empty formation here. Calandria gets the snap with 3 on the play clock. To the left side, blocked. Deflected to the ground. And it's going to be 4th down for this Rebel offense. Good hands there by the Aggie defense. 4th and 6.
And right here in this situation, it looks like the Rebels are going to send out the kicking unit, going for 3 to ensure they end up with some points on this drive. And unfortunately, it's just a lack of execution on 1st and 2nd down for them to set up this 4th and 6 field goal attempt.
Blocked pass by Olaval, so a 39-yard field goal attempt from Viella. Kick has the distance, and it's no good. The Aggies will take over and get a shot to win this game on offense.
And that is one of the unclutched situations that we've seen from Ramon Viella so far this year. The ball is right there. He has a good hold, good snap, and the ball just hangs to the right just enough to get outside of the uprights. And the Rebels are going to be heartbroken here at Allegiant Stadium, knowing that Utah State, all they have to do now is get 3 points or a touchdown on the board, and it will be game over for the Rebels and a W for the Utah State Aggies on the road.
Coming into tonight's game, the Aggies were a perfect 10 for 10 from field goals. Rinker has missed 2 and has set up here a tied ball game in overtime. So the Aggies will come onto the field for the first time in overtime. 1st and 10 at the 25 with an opportunity to walk it off on the road for their first road win of the season. Barnes looking across the middle, intended for Pagan, incomplete pass just too far ahead of him. In coverage there was Powdrell.
And if you're a UNLV, you're going to have to continue what you did on the outside with Andrew Powdrell. But you got to be aggressive. You got to get this offense the football back, and you have to look for turnovers. This team has been known for their ability to make plays on the football and get either fumbles or interceptions. That is what UNLV needs if they want a chance to win this football game and not allow a field goal to go up.
It's now 2nd and 10 from the 25. Hand off to Davis up the middle, met near the line of scrimmage, might have gotten a gain of 1, and his forward progress is stopped at the 24.
And UNLV's defense on those first 2 downs, they did exactly their job. Only 1 yard combined on those first 2 downs. And now set up a 3rd and 9. You have to do your job. You have to hold them to a stop here. And when the special teams unit comes out, you have to stay locked in and hope for another missed kick. But you cannot allow this team to get the first down and continue to keep the chains moving.
Here we go, 3rd and 9 from the 24. Handoff up the middle. Davis brought down for just a gain of 1 at the 23. So once again, bring on Rinker.
Adelea right there with a huge effort to be able to get Miles Davis on the ground, make sure he didn't get anything explosive, only another 1 yard gain. And once again, the man of the hour is on the door with the game in his hands, and this stadium is lively, electric, hoping for a 3rd miss today.
He missed from 41 earlier today, and he has an attempt to redeem himself. Snap good, hauled good, kick, no good! We're going to double overtime! Wide left once again. He missed at the end of regulation and misses again here wide left. Can you believe it, Johnny?
It has been an absolute heist today, Wyatt, because I don't know what happened in Utah State, but somebody left this kicking leg. There has been 3 missed today from Tanner Rinker, and these are chip stop field goals for a guy that has been so efficient and so locked in. And UNLV is catching another big break. It seems like the football gods are on their side today, whether it be the rain, whether it be the missed kicks, but they are once again going to get an opportunity to get this football back and win this game. You have to love it if you're a football fan. The scene is absolutely electric, and it is a packed house here at Allegiant Stadium. The fans are not ready to go home. They want to see the Rebels get a win, and let's see if the defense can get a stop here first in overtime, second overtime.
So the Aggies will have the ball first in second OT, and they start at the 25 again. Play action. Barnes, pressure, rolling out right. Has to find something near sideline, intended for Pagan. Incomplete pass. Powdrell in the coverage.
Andrew Powdrell, hands behind his back, because he knows he is locking up on the outside today. The kid has done an amazing job as the boundary corner, the man-to-man shutdown corner against Pagan so far in the second half, and he did exactly that right there, putting his seatbelt on, playing great coverage, playing through the hands of the wide receiver, and is setting up a 2nd and long here for the Utah State Aggies.
The last time the Rebels were in overtime was last year, October 4th, against Syracuse. They lost 44-41. Barnes sacked. The pressure by Touchet Adelea runs the tackle into Barnes, and a loss of 7 there on 2nd down.
And Touchet said, if you are going to try to send Miles Davis to come and block me, I'm going to run him into the lap of your quarterback every single time. They don't send the pulling guard quick enough to be able to get to that defensive end. He meets Barnes in the backfield, able to get a big sack for the Rebels. 3rd and 17. Time to get off the field if you're UNLV.
The last time the Aggies were in OT was in November 24, 2023. They won that against New Mexico. Barnes has to run, use his legs, brought down near the 21 after a gain of 11, using his legs, setting up a manageable field goal for Rinker, who has missed 2 field goals and an extra point, which one might look at and say this might be the reason why we're in this situation. He has missed 2 crucial field goals, timely field goals down the stretch, a 44-yard field goal wide left at the end of regulation, and a 41-yarder against them in OT. So a second one here from the 29-yard line. 39-yard field goal attempt from the middle. Hold, snap, good. Kick is up, has the distance, and he makes it, giving the Aggies a 3-point lead in double overtime. So the Rebels will have a chance to answer here at home and get their first overtime win since November 30th of 2019 against Reno.
And Tanner Rinker right there on that play, doing his job as the kicker for this team, being able to give them that 3-point lead. And when you are a kicker, no matter what level of football you are playing at, you have to have short-term memory loss. You have to be able to wipe those plays clean, move on to the next one. He was able to do that to give them this lead. But if you're Ant-Man, Corey Dennis, and the rest of this offense with no Jet Thomas today, you have an opportunity to go in for 6 and win this game at home with your fans at your back. The time is now for them to have a legacy moment for Dan Mullen in this offense.
1st and 10 at their own 25. Handoff, Caden McGee, left side, has the lane to run, gets to the edge, has 5 yards to go. Diving effort. Is he in? Awaiting for the officials. He's in. Walk-off touchdown in Las Vegas. The first overtime win since 2019, and the Rebels survive at home 29-26. They are now 8-2 on the season and win a close one in double overtime.
The redshirt freshman, Caden McGee from Muskogee, Oklahoma, comes in and ends it on a jet sweep to the outside. He's able to take the blocks from the outside by Dede Reynolds and Troy O'Meara, doing a great job of not holding, no penalties, but blocking their man with efficiency, doing a great job to let Caden McGee follow his blocks, and UNLV is going to be able to walk out of this one with a win and end up 4-2 in Mountain West Conference play and keep their conference championship hopes alive in a stunner, a thriller, and a aura-filled event here at Allegiant Stadium.
A 25-yard run, the first offensive touchdown for Caden McGee all season long. The last time he scored a touchdown was against Wyoming of this year in October 4th. That was a special teams block and return for a house call. The Rebels win big at home, 29-26. Their first overtime win since 2019. What a game.
What a game, Wyatt. You know, going off and coming into this game on Monday when we get back to school, Caden McGee is going to be the big man on campus for this team. But it speaks to the resiliency of this UNLV team. backs against the wall, multiple missed kicks, to be able to have the wherewithal in the first play in the second overtime on offense to come out, give the ball to Caden McGee, and allow him, not Jaden Bradley, not Troy O'Meara, not Jet Thomas, who was out of this game, to come in and have the final nail in the coffin for this UNLV Rebel football team. It speaks to the type of dream season the Rebels have been able to have so far. But they are still 2 tough games ahead on their schedule. They are going to play the University of Hawaii, vying for that 9th Island Bowl game here at Allegiant Stadium. Micah Alejado, the quarterback of the team, hailing from Bishop Gorman, where he won multiple national championships for the team, is going to try to come back to his hometown and be a spoiler. But for right now, Caden McGee and the UNLV Rebels are going to be riding high in a game that was a thriller for Dan Mullen in this program.
A walk-off touchdown in double overtime. The Rebels win their 8th game of the season, 29-26 against Utah State. A special thank you to Program Director Kevin E. Martin and our operator Jack Bridges for getting this show on the air. And all of you listening at home, thank you so much for tuning in. From everyone here at Rebel Sportsnet, Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Bridges, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one. See you later, folks.